ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Core Racing League race here tonight. It is two short tracks on tap for the Arca Menard series in the Core Racing League. I am Dylan McDonald on CRN. I will be joined later by Abhi Vishuvasam as he was not able to make it here as of right now, but he will be here later tonight as we get ready to go racing at two short tracks. One track is going to be Myrtle Beach, which is no longer here with us tonight, as you know they did end up tearing that track down and ended up, I think, just leveling it off. It's no longer here anymore. A lot of great races throughout the years. It is in Florida, as I believe it's in Florida. I'm not 100% sure where it's actually at. I'm not really. I think Myrtle Beach, Carolina, maybe. I don't know. I'm not really too familiar with my short tracks. But track temp is 103 degrees, 65-degree air temp. And then, you got a little bit of a wind coming out of, I believe it was like the northeast or something like that. But nonetheless, watching these guys in practice and doing a little bit of practice myself, the setup is going to be a little bit loose for these guys until that car gets a little bit more dialed in than what it is, as that cold tire effect does play a little bit of a difference on your tires. While we're sitting here waiting as all these guys are going out there running a little bit of laps, we're actually going to follow along with the number 72, put it in the in-car camera so you guys can see exactly how these guys are having to manage a little bit of tire wear coming out of pit road, what they have to do just to get a little bit faster. As I was able to click off a 22 or a 19.468, and Paul Owens was able just to beat me by 1/1000th of a second. So we're not seeing those times here today, with the track temp being as high as as high as it is currently. But Paul Owens out there with a 19.581, so he shouldn't be too mad about that lap, as we're riding on board with Caleb Collins. And you see there, he's taking a little bit of a higher arc into the corner, getting close to those turtles, and that's just one thing that you do got to watch out for, is those turtles. Those turtles will come out and bite you. I did happen to break a right front coming out of pit road and hitting those turtles. So definitely want to watch and make sure you know what you're doing. And there you see it. Caleb ripping that wheel all the way to the right just to keep that car straight, as we're going to bounce out of this view and go to a different view here as we watch these guys tackle Myrtle Beach. Going to go ahead and bring up the track map for you guys for the last about 30 seconds. You can see there, it's just a nice little D-shaped oval. It is a short track, like I said earlier, as it's no longer with us today, as they have leveled the playing field of Myrtle Beach. So it's definitely going to be a fun race out here tonight, as we're getting ready for, I believe it is 90 laps in the Arca cars. So it's going to be a good race here. And then right after that race, we're going to see the Arca cars fly all the way to Nashville. And they're going to rip around Nashville Fairgrounds, another little bit of a short track over there. But first, we're going to call tonight a military appreciation night, as November 11th is right around the corner, Veterans Day. So got to give a big shout out to all of our veterans that did, in fact, serve. We want to say thank you for serving. And yeah, the guys over here in the Core Racing League decided to make it Military Appreciation Night. So you'll see a lot of different people running different branches on their cars. As it looks like Caleb Collins is sporting a Marines car, and that number 72 Ford Taurus. If there's anybody out there in the race that you guys want to look at, see their car, give them a shout out. Let me know, and I will move over to that person's car, give you guys a little bit of a look inside of their car as well, show you exactly how they're getting around the track. Want to say thank you to everybody that has liked, shared, subscribed all the videos. Without you guys, CRN wouldn't be able to be here where we are today. We are closing in on our goal of 300 subscribers by the end of the year. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. If you guys like what you see, go ahead, throw a like on the video. And if there's somebody out there you're rooting for, let me know in the YouTube chat, and I will get you watching your favorite driver out on track. And, so far, Mark Thomas is your pole sitter with a 19.550. And there you see it there. Caleb Collins gets a little bit too spicy coming out of turn number 4. And that's going to put him P number 4. But Joe Sullivan up there running in the second position as he's coming around to take his final lap. He is only 0.056 of a second off, but Tyler Bramble running a 19.569. Joe Sullivan's going to run a little bit slower with a 19.711. Tyler Bramble ended up spinning it out, wasn't able to make it work. The 86 sporting the U.S. Army paint scheme out there. As we got somebody out there in chat saying, let's go Jimmy Ensley. Once Jimmy Ensley goes out to start his qualifying, I will let you go ahead and see his car. As Jimmy Ensley, I was helping him a little bit earlier. Same with Paul Owens. I was helping out Jimmy, Tyler Bramble. Helping out a couple of these guys that decided to come out for a practice session. Got them in the game for tonight's race. Only at Myrtle Beach. Didn't have time to get the Nashville Fairgrounds going. But so far, Mark Thomas still up top on the leaderboards. Looks like Paul Owens coming out to do his first lap. We're going to see what his lap time's going to be. Track is a little bit hotter, Paul. First lap is going to be a 19.709. So put Paul Owens down in P number 7. Still going to see what he can get done on that second lap. Going to see if he can get a little bit quicker. We know he can run up front. He did win 2 races in a row. And that's going to move him up one more position. So move Paul Owens up to P number 6. Right around here with Paul Butler as he just went back into pit lane. As nobody was able to knock off the Briton of Mark Thomas sitting on top of the leaderboard. Paul Butler, admin and very good friend of mine over in Core. I actually met him through Core Racing League, as I only run the 87s on Thursday. Core has a couple of series all the way throughout the week. Sundays are premieres. Mondays is GT3, GT4 racing. Tuesdays the Arca. Thursday are the 87s. Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, there's no series being run. No broadcast either. And Paul Butler knocks off Mark Thomas, setting fast time with a 19.530. So Paul Butler knocks him off his high horse, puts him down to P number 2, and Paul Butler is going to be starting on your front row. Let's see and look who else is out here. Still waiting for Jimmy Inslee, Brendan Polt, and John Crane to post a time or go out on track. As make sure you guys get ready to follow Carl and Jimmy as they are going to go over to the UCRL After Dark Man Cave Truck Series. They're running Martinsville tonight. Don't want to miss that action. Make sure you guys go over, give Jimmy and Carl a big old shout out, as they're going to be doing that right after this first race. Got somebody out there in chat saying good luck to all racing. This is Derek. Want to say thank you, Derek, for serving our country. As glad that you were able to come back home and be able to race with us every week. As looks like Jimmy Inslee, Brandon Polt, and John Crane are not going to take a time as it looks right now. A little bit of a small field here tonight. 14 drivers, though. I mean, 14 drivers on a short track is it can, it can make or break your rhythm here. Cautions breed cautions, especially at a short track. Setup's just a little bit loose. Track temp is going to be up there in the high 100s or low 100s. Look about 103, 104. But getting into the corner, getting out of the corner is definitely going to be a tough task to do. So while we're waiting, we're going to go ahead and bring in our pole sitter, Mr. Paul Butler. Let me fix this really quickly. See when Jimmy Inslee or Brendan Polt decide to come on out and grab a time. Paul Butler, this is Dylan in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yo, what's up, Dylan? How are you, buddy?
I'm doing all right, Paul. So far, you're sitting on top of the leaderboard, and
Yeah, the guys told me the secret. I was in here, I just got into practice, which I rarely make it to practice anymore. And I was running around driving in fourth gear, thinking, why in the heck is everybody so faster than me? Then they told me, hey, are you running fourth gear? You need to be in third.
yeah,
This is a wacky setup, man. I don't get it. But hey, the car held barely and wrecked the first lap, had to reset and do it again.
I think maybe I
Got a
should send you a text, let you know exactly what I was running for race trim, so that way we can see that number 77 stay out front. I mean, you put it on the pole, figured something out, and
Yeah, I think I've got it figured out pretty good. I mean, this patience, I don't have patience when it comes to the exits of turns. I like to be able to drive off the turn. And with this setup, you're not driving off the turn. You're easing off the turn and it's gonna make the race interesting. We'll see what happens. You know, we'll throw it out there. If we can get something good with it, we'll do it. If not, we always got, Nashville Fairgrounds coming up next.
yeah, I mean, Myrtle Beach is a hard track, especially with the turtles in 1 and 2. And then you got somewhat of a little bit of a short shoot in the backstretch, and you're pretty much right back on the brakes. Not too hard because you don't want to send that rear end back up and smack you in the face. But same with the front stretch. You're not really going completely straight on the front stretch. You got to keep that wheel turned to the left just a little bit. It's kind of like another Chicagoland on the backstretch, but vice versa. The front
Yeah,
stretch
yeah, yeah.
does turn a little bit, and that could potentially get a couple of people into the wall, and hopefully it doesn't, but it could. And with these Arca cars, once the back end grabs that wall, the front end is going to come back in, and that's when everybody's going to start trying to yank the car off the wall and create a lot of drama.
Yeah, that's I mean, sorry, I just took some muscle relaxer medicine. I can't keep my thoughts straight. Um, I forgot what I was gonna say, man.
All right, Paul. We'll go ahead and let you get back down there.
I
Have
had
fun.
something I wanted to say though, dude. I don't remember.
Hey, you know what? Some thoughts are better left unsaid.
It
It's,
might be,
yeah.
might be. I'm gonna give it a good shot here though. We're gonna try and be back up here for the interviews afterwards.
All right, Paul. We're going to go ahead and let you get back down there and enjoy the company of these guys up here in the Discord. And like you said,
All right,
hopefully we'll be talking to you at the end of the first race.
all right, brother. Sorry, I lost my train of thought, man.
Oh
It's
man,
not cool.
you're good, buddy.
All right, I'll talk to you later, dude.
See you later, buddy. All right, that was our pole sitter of Paul Butler. As he's going to start P number one, going to go ahead and run down this order for everybody really quick. Show the results here. P number one is going to be Paul Butler. Second is going to be Mark the Muffin Man Thomas. The third, Tyler Bramble. Fourth, Joseph Sullivan. Fifth, John Nobinger. Sixth, Tyler E. Barnes. Seventh, Paul Owens. Eighth, Caleb Collins. Ninth, Joe Morant. And rounding out your top 10 is going to be Matt Crockett. 11th is going to be Derek Booker. 12th, Brendan Polt. 13th, Jimmy Inslee. And 14th, rounding out your 14-car field, is going to be the number 11 of John Crane. So 90 laps on tap here tonight. We're going to go ahead and go up here to Paul the Man Butler himself. Get you a nice look at his car. The number 77 RC Cola Sweet Jenny. The number 50 of Mark Thomas, but showing the number 10 Haviline. Joe Sullivan in the Max's Auction, number 76 Charlie Brown scheme. Tyler Bramble in the number 39 with a piece of bread with a frowny face. John Obinger in the number 44. And I believe they might be getting ready to go, so I'm going to go ahead and go up to the start cam. They are not, but they are 1 to green. As get this track map up here for you guys really momentarily. Gotta reload it. As we're getting ready to, we're actually on the backstretch, but had to do a little bit of mic issues there. Let me know if you guys can hear me a little bit better. Barty's got the green flag in his hand. Can't go until they call out the green. Paul's going to lead him to the green. He's going to go right after there. Going into turn number 1. Paul Butler's going to lead it into turn number 1. Down on the inside. But back in the back, these guys are too wide on tonight's military night. Going back to Matt Crockett. He's got Brendan Polt underneath of him. Then right behind him, you got Derek Booker, the number 86, and John Crane, or the 53 Navy machine of Jimmy Inslee. Brendan Polk gets a little bit loose going into turn number 1. They're 3 wide. Jimmy Inslee on the inside, Matt Crockett in the middle, and John Crane on the outside. John Crane's going to move it out of the way. Let these guys settle it back out. Up here with Joe Morant. They are all single file. Looks like Tyler Barnes gets a little bit loose coming out of turn number 2. Or turn number 4, excuse me. Gets to the inside of John Obinger. Hits the Turtles, though. Not able to hold it down there. Tyler Barnes trying to get up to the number 44, John Obinger, but it looks like Joe Sullivan got a little bit loose coming out of turn number 4. He's got Paul Owens. He gets a little bit loose right in front of Paul Owens. Joe, you can't park there. And that's going to bring out our first caution. We're going to go ahead and get a little bit of a CRN replay. So you see here, Joe Sullivan gets a little bit spicy into the corner, gets a little bit loose right in front of our points leader of Paul Owens. And you see there, he had to lock him up. And that's going to bring out our first yellow flag. Good racing good avoidance by the number 54. Did not make any contact with him. Good avoidance by everybody behind Paul Owens, letting him get the car slowed down and not running him over. As it looks like Matt Crockett is going to go into pit lane. That is another thing that you do have. You don't have to worry about tires or fuel. It's all unlimited. You only got one fast repair, though, so that's something that you definitely want to pay attention to. You don't want to race too aggressively, as that could hinder your chances at potentially winning a race if you burn that fast repair a little bit too early. If you guys need me to turn myself up just a little bit more, let me know in the YouTube comments. Been having a little bit of problems with my mic here as of late, but hopefully with that little bit of adjustment that I did, it was able to get turned up just a little bit more. But while we have everybody in a single file line, we're going to go ahead and go back through these paint schemes. Paul Owens that at number 54, MSI Simtech. Tyler Bramble at number 39, John Nobinger. And the Moving and Storage number 44, Tyler E. Barnes with the Goodwrench Services. Throwback to Dale Earnhardt. Joe Morant in the 013 black with a little bit of red. Caleb Collins supporting the Marines. And then number 72. Derek Booker up to number 9th. in the U.S. Army number 86. Jimmy Inslee rocking the Navy Blue Angels paint scheme. Brendan Polt, Ridgeline Builders number 071. John Crane in that number 11 Nightmare Before Christmas Jack Skellington paint scheme. Matt Crockett, The Rocket, Liquid Death Springwater number 10. And Joe Sullivan in that Charlie Brown number 76. Barney's got the green flag back in his hand. Paul can go as soon as he wants, and there he goes. He's off into turn number 1. Going to lead them all into turn number 1. He's got Paul Owens right on his back bumper. Mark Thomas has a little bit of competition now, as now Mark Thomas is forced to the outside, and here goes Owens. Owens going from third to first, all in one single lap. Going to clear Paul Butler on the inside, and now Paul Owens is to the point. As we're looking back here, it looked like Caleb Collins is being stuck on the outside on the outside of Joe Morant. These guys are running a little bit harder. As you heard Paul Butler say earlier in his interview, it is a third gear setup. I ran a little bit of practice here, tried running fourth gear, and it was not a good time. Car was a little bit boggy going down the front stretch and through the turns. Definitely got to make sure you watch your throttle input and your throttle or in your brake, as it looks like Tyler E. Barnes. Oh, we got a spin in the back. John Crane. I'm going to go ahead and go back and look and see exactly what happened to the number 11. Coming out of turn number 3 and 4. Gets a little bit spicy. Ends up looping it around. Goes through the grass. Goes through victory lane. But after that, there's another incident here as the number 86, Derek Booker, looks to the inside of the number 013. Gets in the brakes just a little bit too much. Straightens up the wheel. Doesn't hit anything or anybody else, so able to keep that fast repair on deck. But now he's roasting those tires, so definitely not what you want to do after you spin. Tyler A. Barnes up here, up to P number 7. But the man on the move up 6 positions, our biggest mover of the race, is going to be Paul Jelly Owens, as he is took the lead from Paul Butler and pretty much has kept the lead ever since once he got around to Paul Butler, as they're getting ready to go back to single file. Leader will end up having a lane choice, so Paul Owens will either take the inside or the outside. Okay. Alright, see if that works for you guys a little bit more. Making sure that you guys can hear the cars and my voice all at the same time, as pace car lights are probably going to go off this time by. It looks like Paul Owens is going to take the inside, and that is what he's going to do. So Paul Owens is going to be on the inside and Paul Butler on the outside. 2 Pauls on the front row. Then you got Mike and Tyler sitting, or Mark and Tyler sitting P3 and P4. Coming through the turn 3 and 4, going to go ahead and move it back on up to Barney, as he's got the green flag in his hand, raising it nice and high to the sky. He's doing a lot of double duty out here tonight. Paul Owens goes right off the rip. He's going to lead these guys into turn number 1, and going through the little bit of a double apex, if you want to kind of call it, as these guys have to be a little bit easy on throttle getting into the corners, as a lot can happen, especially going into turn number 1. You know, you got a little bit of an indent, like the turn goes down and it comes back out, and then it goes, follows like a normal turn. So definitely want to keep an eye on that. Don't want to hit the turtles, like I've said, as it looks like Joe Morant, he's going to drop down the order. Not sure exactly what was going on with the number 013. So Joe Morant is in pit lane. Joe Sullivan trying to work his way around that number 86 machine of Derek Booker. Derek Booker on the inside of Tyler Bramble. He's going to move him up. Tyler Bramble is going to run the outside. Derek Booker gets a little bit loose. Who's going to have the edge going into turn number 1? It looks like they're dead even, as Tyler Bramble still holding strong on that outside. They're going to touch just a little bit. Derek Booker's going to have the lead. Not the lead, but he's going to have the advantage going into turn number 3 and 4. Coming out, a rebuttal from the number 39. 39 is going to dive into the inside into turn number 1 and 2. Now Derek Booker's on the outside. What can he do? Tyler Bramble on the inside gives him plenty of room. Joe Sullivan wants to go, but he's got nowhere to go and make it happen. Almost getting into the back of the number 39. Able to keep it out of there. And the 39, 76, and maybe possibly the 53 going to make a move on that number 86, as it looks like Joe Sullivan just got a little bit loose coming out of turn number 2 and getting in of turn number 1. Able to keep the car straight, though. Tyler Bramble hugging that inside line, not letting anybody get to his inside, as Joe Sullivan really wants to get around him, get up there to the front. They are all spread out. As of right now, the biggest battle is going to be back here with these guys battling for P number 8 and 9, as they're slowly starting to catch Brendan Poulton at number 071. Just trying to do everything they can to get a little bit of heat in these tires, get them a little bit quicker, and not as much of a issue with looseness, but just seeing what they can do with these cars when they need to do them. We have a turtle count out there, 2 as of right now, as they're keeping track of who all hits the turtles. But back here, Derek Booker is now under fire from the number 10. Derek Booker taking a bit of a higher entry into turn number 3 and 4. And me personally, I'd be taking it a little bit lower. You want to get as low as you possibly can to that wall. And then 1 and 2, he takes it a little bit higher than where I would. Crockett's running about the same line that I would run if it were me out there running this track. Kind of keep it down low, keep it close to those turtles, but not hit them, as Crockett's going to look to the inside, possibly. Derek Booker's going to shut the door. Turtle count number 3 as he ran him over. Derek Booker's going to keep that position over Matt Crockett. Matt Crockett's still trying to get around him, as Tyler Barnes has caught up to the number 50 machine of the Muffin Man. And the Muffin Man still holding it together in P number 3. But we almost had a pass for 3rd, as Tyler Barnes is still trying to get there. Paul Butler all over the back bumper, now to the inside of our race leader. Paul Butler using that inside to his advantage, but Paul Owens got the run. Paul Owens gets a little bit loose, gets into the wall. That's going to give the lead to Paul Butler, and he has cleared him going into turn number 3 and 4. Coming out, and Paul Butler regains the lead, 30 laps out of 90. And now we're going to have one good race to the finish, as these guys keep swapping back and forth for the position. Caleb Collins up here to P number 6. Not sure exactly where he came from. He is battling with the number 44 of John Nobinger. These guys are going at it back and forth, and Derek Booker looks to have lost it going into turn number 3 and 4. Going to look back and see exactly. Oh, he got loose coming out of 2. Gets up into the wall. Comes back down a little bit loose. Trying to save it. Not able to do so. Puts it up towards the outside wall and just stays there. Gets it flipped back around. No caution as he got it going again. He's going to get lapped by our leaders. Going to let them go on a bye. Back here in the back, though, it looks like Jimmy Inslee's trying to make a move on the number 071 of Brendan Pohl. Is going to move him up the racetrack. Jimmy Inslee trying to get as much track position as he can and to keep it clean. One of the guys that do put up the test sessions for the Arca series, guys. As the 86 has spun it around again. Going to go ahead and jump to another CRN replay. The 86 just can't seem to get the car underneath of him and loops it again going down the backstretch, able to keep it off the wall and keep it out of everybody's way. Loops it back around and gets that number 86 machine back going. As we're looking here, it says that Caleb Collins has crashed. Want to go ahead and look and see what happened. Sometimes maybe when they stop, it does say that they had a little bit of an incident here. Going to see exactly what happened. Yeah, not sure what happened to Caleb. He thought about pitting, but ended up staying out. As we are now joined by my co-host, Abhi Vishuvasam. Abhi, how are you doing?
Hey, Dylan, I'm doing good. Yeah, how's the race going so far? Looks like we got Paul Butler in the lead.
Yeah, so far, Paul Butler started on pole, ended up losing the lead to Paul Owens, and got the lead back. This is our third caution, as Paul Butler elected. I think he elected to stay out, if I'm not mistaken. As it is Paul Butler back up to Pete number 1, Tyler Barnes in second, John Obinger in third, Caleb Collins in fourth, Paul Owens in fifth, Tyler Bramble, in sixth, Mark Thomas in seventh, Matt Crockett, the Rocket, in eighth, Brendan Polt in ninth, Jimmy Inslee is going to round out your top 10, John Crane is sitting 11th, Joseph Sullivan in 12th, Derek Booker in 13th, and out of the race due to connection issues is the number 013 of Joe Morant. Seems like the number 86 is going to get hit with the back of the line penalty. He's going to let everybody go on by. He's got to fall in line. It looks like Paul Owens ended up going into pit lane.
Yeah, and looks like we're coming up to halfway in the race over here, and it's nice to see some familiar names here running competitive in competitive places. Now, it's been a while since I've seen Paul Butler lead a race. Really nice to see him picking up the slack over here and showing everybody how it's done. He's always competitive. Pretty much every oval track I've seen him race at, he shows up last minute because of other family commitments, but then gets competitive very quickly and starts putting all the mainstays to their test and gives them some heartburn. But here he is leading the race. It's really nice to see that. And of course, John Nobinger right there, another one that's been a steady in most of our leagues, and here he is. He's holding it up there in the front.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much where you qualify is where you're going to try to stay. Paul Butler on the loud pedal really quickly leads him going into turn number 1. He's going to lead the whole field. It looks like Mark Thomas is going to get a little bit too spicy. Almost gets in the back of Caleb Collins, the number 72 machine. Able to keep it down there. Brendan Polt and Tyler Bramble side by side going into turn number 3 and 4. Caleb Collins on the outside, Brendan Polt on the outside. And it looks like coming out of turn number 3 and 4, that's where you'll want to be. And we have a caution out on track. As it looks like a parking lot. We're going to take a look here. Going to go ahead and slow it down. See, looks like John Crane got in the wall. Paul Owens, nowhere to go. Lifts up his rear end. Gets him a little bit spicy. Says, yep. Nightmare before Christmas. Nightmare before race day. Jimmy Inslee gets tagged. Joe Sullivan gets tagged. Jimmy Inslee and that Blue Angels ends up smacking the wall head on. So that's going to be a couple of fast repairs in the making for these Arca drivers.
Yeah, I think that one particular incident, I think there was just a couple of guys there who thought maybe they could have avoided it, but ended up, getting collected in the same thing. Not sure how these guys are doing in the points right now, but I can tell you they probably are scrambling to kind of get those positions, and we're getting close to halfway race here, so it's important that they figure out what their story is going to be for the rest of the race, and Right now, the story is they're driving into pit lane and trying to get that fast repair and get back out there on the lead lap if they can.
Yeah, I mean, as it sits right now, Paul Owens is your points leader. Matt Crockett is sitting P number 2. Caleb Collins in 3rd. Paul Butler in 4th. Mark Thomas in 5th. Joe Sullivan in 6th. And then we have a two-way tie for 7th place with Tyler Bramble and Mark Gonzalez. And then another two-way tie for 9th with Jimmy Inslee and John Nobinger. Adam Keating is in 11th. John Crane is in 12th. Derek Booker in 13th. Joe Morant in 14th. Tyler Barnes in 15th. And rounding out your 16 cars on the points standings that I'm showing is the number 8 of Kevin Hollywood Foster, who was not able to make it here tonight. So a lot of good time to make up a little bit of positions on that point sheet. You know, we got three more races actually, because we still have Nashville Superspeedway right after this race, and then we have Pocono and Talladega next week. And you know, in this series they get 1 week to use double points, so you know that's going to be key for a lot of these guys. If they have not used the double points yet, they will be forced to take them next week. I don't know who's taking the double points. Abby, I know you don't know. The only person that knows is taking the double points is Carl and that racer. So that way they don't have people like, let's say, me.
Any
Yeah,
advantage?
yeah. So
Yep.
kind of like, you know, how you stay out on older tires and, you know, then you got me coming up behind you.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just it's like showing up to a gunfight with a knife, right? That's what happens to me every time.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's not fun, you know, when
no,
you
no.
sucks to suck yourself, you know. I mean,
Yeah,
just look how my season's been going in the 87s. I haven't been able to finish a race, and I don't think next week's going to be any
yeah.
exception.
You've had a rough go there for a little bit. The pace car's pulling in. Looks like the race is getting ready to go on the green again. And there's Paul Butler starting to get on that loud pedal and pulling away from the rest of the pack over there. Nobinger tries to squeeze in there, and he's trying to fight for position right there to get his second place. And there's 3 wide for a brief second over there. These guys are still fighting really hard. And Paul Butler just trying to put a little bit of distance over here to get into safe air. Got Mark Thomas over there is making a play for it. They're 3 wide right now. So let's see what happens. Up, they squeeze right in, they tuck right in, and they're driving safe at the moment.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some. Hopefully they'll have some green flag running right now to get some laps under their belt and get these tires nice and warmed up and start to get some control over this race. And I think Paul's kind of figured it out at the moment. Let's see if he can keep it going.
Yeah, and it is a 3rd gear setup, so that's something that these guys got to remember as Brendan Pohl gets into the turtles there just a little bit. Ended up having a little bit of a trouble going into turn number 1 a couple laps earlier. Got a little bit too spicy on the brakes. Had the rear end step out on them, but they're kind of starting to single file out now as Brendan Pohl's getting passed currently by the number 39 of Tyler Bramble. That's going to allow Paul Owens to possibly come by and pass him as well. But Mr. Matt Crockett making his way up here as Paul Owens uses the outside to get around the number 39. He said, fine, you want to take the inside? I'll just move around on the out. And now Brendan Polt's trying to get around the number 72 of Caleb Collins. Back here in the back, though, Joe Sullivan trying to work his way back up to the front. He's got the number 11 of John Crane in front of him.
Yeah, and I mean, Paul Owens making some risky moves there, trying to make some position, but that's nothing new for Paul. Paul's used to taking a few risks here and there, and sometimes he comes out on the good end of those things, sometimes he comes out on the bad end, but usually there's some kind of victim somewhere, and hopefully it's not him this time.
Yeah, me personally, I don't know about doing any sketchy moves in these Arca cars, especially running a 3rd gear SETI. Setup, sorry. You know, it just, you can't really put the power down like you know you could on, like, let's say, the new Atlanta or Chicagoland. You got to ease into the throttle. And, you know, Abby, I've always helped you out, but this race right here is Caleb Collins goes
There's
for
something
a
going on up
ride.
there. Oh,
That's going to bring
my
out
gosh, there's
another
a big
caution.
collision.
As I
Oof,
caught it just
was
before it happened, we're going to go ahead and go back to a replay here. Slow it down, see exactly what happened to the number 72. Gets a little bit spicy coming out of the corner. Gets a little bit sideways, has it corrected, but just stands on the throttle, comes back down across the number 071. Doesn't get hit by him, though. Tries to overcorrect it, gets it straight again, but corrects it a little bit too much and
He's
hits the
sliding to that
inside
wall.
wall.
You
Oof.
know what he's seeing in that cockpit. He's seeing that wall coming up, and he doesn't know what to do. There it is.
He's being a
Ah.
Ricky Bobby right now, saying, "Oh dear, sweet baby Jesus."
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's used his fast repair already, but I'm pretty sure that that car's going to need some work done to it at that point.
Yeah, that car is definitely going to need some work done. The 53 of Jimmy Inslee, I know, has used his fast repair. He was involved in that crash as well. Same with Joe Sullivan. So a lot of big
Yeah,
names getting taken out of
let
here
me ask
early
you
in the
this,
race.
Dylan. While the race is kind of still under yellow here, you've driven these cars. I mean, right now, what is it that's pressing on these guys' mind? I mean, is it tire wear? Is it fuel strategy? What is really the thing that's on their mind about getting to that 90 lap mark in the position they want to be in?
Right now, with it being 54 laps, I would be more about tire conserving. Right now, I can't remember. I didn't ask Paul Butler how many laps he could get on a tank of fuel. But I think with it being 55 laps in, you've had a couple of pit stops. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to make it through the rest of the race. I think tire conservation is going to be a big key, though.
Yeah, I think tire. I mean, across the board, right? Arca cars, they're tire sensitive. But I was really curious as to how you saw these guys kind of racing and what they would be focusing on at this point. I know that I from racing Paul a bunch. I mean, the one thing that I think he's always got in his mind is to make sure he's got some very clean pit stops because he's occasionally known for having some exciting pit stops, and so let's see how he does this time. But I think he's got his game face on, and he's ready to race. His car looks pretty clean. I don't see a lot of damage on it, so looks like he's kept his nose clean. He's kept it off the walls, and everybody else behind him are taking some damage over here. So he knows what he needs to do. He can't stay in the middle of the pack and get into any risky situation. He knows he's got to stay ahead of these guys and keep his nose clean. So he's doing the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, Paul Owens and Paul Butler have both been up towards the front the whole time. It was Paul Butler and Mark Thomas on the front row. Mark Thomas ended up falling back just a little bit. Back up to P number 3. Pace car lights are off, but he worked his way up to the third position and able to keep it up there. He was running second for the longest time, and then Paul Owens decided, hey, I'm going to spoil the party. Got around Paul Butler pretty quickly, led for about 5 to 10 laps, and then Paul Butler ended up turning on the NOS button and got back around the number 54. I'm going to go ahead back up here to Barney, the flagman, as he's got that green flag raised high in the sky. Paul Butler controls the restart, and it looks like he's going to wait until he gets completely straight. He's going to take off
Yeah.
on these guys, leading them into turn number 1. He's going to be clear, but here comes Tyler Barnes. He's going to try to do a little bit of a crossover maneuver, not able to do so. But looking back here, it looks like John Obinger dives it
Somebody
into the
almost.
corner. Derek Booker
Oof.
is around on the backstretch, sitting like a duck, waiting for
Yep.
it to go. He's got that number 86 machine back going. But that
I don't know who needs
dive,
the diaper change right there, but I think it's Nobinger. I mean, I think he just scared himself half to death. How quickly he pulled up on them. And there's some bumping right now over there with the Valvoline number 10 Valvoline car. I think if I can see that correctly, that's not Mark Thomas. It's
that is Mark
Paul.
Thomas. Mark
That
Thomas
is
is
Mark
in the
Thomas.
number 10. Derek Booker up into the wall on the outside. They were able to navigate around him. Paul Owens on the outside. Tyler Bramble almost getting a little bit of a shot from the number 50/10 machine of Mark Thomas. John Obinger on the
Didn't
inside of Paul Owens, not able to get clear just yet. Now he's clear coming out of turn number 2. So move the number 54 up to P4. Now he can start working on that number 50 of Mark Thomas.
Did Mark Thomas get into the wrong car? Because I've never seen him in the number 10 car. I don't think. Is that his number?
Well, he is the number 50, but it's been the number 10 for about 6 weeks now.
Okay, so in Arca, I guess that's what he's riding. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's riding. Oh, look at that! He's trying to. He's trying to get his position back over here from Tyler. And I think, oh, so we have a spin out there. We got a spin.
Tyler
Not
E.
sure if there's any more.
Barnes gonna go ahead and go back. It looks like Mark Thomas just trying to rattle his cage a little bit, and he just gets on the gas just a little bit too quick. Turns it back up the track, slides it to a halt. Caleb Collins
Oh,
smacks the
a couple of
wall.
people took the wall.
We're
Oh
gonna go ahead
no.
and jump over to Caleb. Rewind this just a little bit and just kind of see exactly just. I think at this point, he sees he's spinning. And right now, he's just committed to that high side. He wasn't sure where he's
Yep.
going to stop. And at that point, you're kind of just committed. Just go with the flow. Joe Sullivan did the same thing, ended up smacking the wall. Some that, especially in these Arca cars, it's kind of like the next gen. That front right, if you hit the wall too many times, that front right's going to be pushed in. It's going to drive terribly. And, with Caleb Collins already using his fast repair, you got to imagine how much damage he does have on that right side. And hopefully it doesn't hinder his chances of turning the car into the corner and making his car a little bit slower.
Yeah, I think there was nothing anybody could do over there when the car was spun out and right in the way. And I don't think this has anything to do with what Mark Thomas was doing. I think it was just Tyler trying to get away from Mark as fast as he could and got on the throttle a little bit. Car got loose, and next thing you know, he's just on for the ride there. He's just a passenger in his own car, and he can't do much about it. But I think that was actually not a bad wreck compared to what could have possibly happened. I mean, there's a couple of guys got out of the way. And he didn't take out half the field or anything. So here we are back in the caution, the pace laps right now, trying to get back into green flag racing. And I think Tyler will be out there in a few minutes. Hopefully, he hasn't caused any damage for himself. He's in 5th place right now, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, Tyler Barnes in that number 3 machine back there in
Oh, it's
11th.
Barnes.
Yeah,
That's the
yes.
one. He's the one. Yep, number 11
Yeah,
was the
we
one that.
yeah
Yeah.
we have 2 Tylers, we got 2 Pauls, we got 2 Marks, we got like 4 or 5 Kevins. Yeah, there's a lot of different names, and I always mix them up. So don't
The
feel
Kevin,
bad.
the Kevin. No, I don't feel bad at all. As a matter of fact, I feel like all the Kevins are missing from this race. They must be at a Kevin convention or something. Just planning what they're going to do for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, let's see.
Um,
We have Kevin Dixon, Kevin Foster, Kevin
Foster,
McCann, Kevin.
we got a bunch of those,
Yeah. I mean, we
and
have.
they're all quick.
They are all quick. They are all very quick. As the pace car, I believe, has going to have his lights turned off this time by possibly. I'm going to go up here and I'll follow along with the number 77. The pace lights are off. Paul Butler's going to take the inside. And it seems like on the restart, the inside is the way to go.
Yeah, I think Paul's kind of figured that out. He's happy with that position now. Of course, he's been lucky that he's been leading most of this part of the race, and so he's had the choice of having the inside. But I think even if he was on the outside, he's going to be fighting to get his place back to the inside, and everybody seems to be comfortable there. Anytime we've seen in this race anybody on the outside trying to make some fancy moves, they usually find the wall a lot sooner than they like. So here we are coming back to the restart.
Yeah, coming back to the restart, Paul Butler's going to lead them off. He's going to wait till they're a little bit straighter than inside the corner, as he's going to get a good jump. Mark Thomas is side by side with Paul Owens, as they're going to do a little bit of a battle going into turn number 3 and
There's a
4.
little bumping there. I see
As
some bumping there.
yeah, back here in the back, Tyler Bramble taking over P number 5 from John Crane. Both having good runs here tonight. Joe Sullivan's going to follow suit, but here comes the number 3 of Tyler Barnes. He's making his way back up here, already up to P number 8 from 11th, and John Crane's going to be in the wall up high, going to be out of the way of everybody. Nobody was collected, and there's going to be a
There's a
spin.
wreck in the middle.
And
Oh
that
no, I
is
think
going to
it's Tyler Bramble. I think,
Joe
or
Sullivan,
maybe it's
Caleb Collins, Tyler Barnes. We're going to go ahead and
got
slow it down
like
here. As it looks like Tyler Bramble, yeah, the 39 of Tyler Bramble gets into the quarter. He might be a little bit loose. Not sure exactly what happened to him.
he gets bumped in the back.
I
by
don't.
number 76.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah, and
think he was expecting him to check up
to check
that
up so
much.
much. Yep,
And
yep. Oh, look at that behind there. Oh no.
yeah, look at that.
Oh, that's a
Derek Booker
pile.
gets hit from behind from the number 72. 72's locking him up, trying not to hit him. And it's just parking lot in turn number 3 and 4.
Oh my
Let
goodness.
everybody know out here, guys, you can't park here. As
Yeah, it's a very costly parking lot, if you ask me.
yeah, yeah, that is a very
That's a lot of money on the table right there.
yeah that is a yeah. It's not fun to be parked in the middle of the track. Just ask the James Batzer of the '87 series. I kind of parked sideways at Milwaukee Mile right in front of him.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
listen,
fun.
he's got a fan club that is a mile long. James brings in a lot of fans that love to razz him on YouTube, and he's a good racer. He's a fun guy to race around. I know you've had some good, challenging, fun battles with him, so it's been fun to watch the vintage series, and I can see that the Arca is not much different. I think it's got just as much fun, if not a little bit more craziness. So let's see.
Yeah, the '87 series is fun when I'm racing it. It's not fun when I'm sitting behind the wall watching everybody go around in a circle.
Well, you know,
I mean, hey, people go through there from time to time. It's just a little bit of a slump, but we'll come back. It's okay. I'll be back up there. I think I just got nervous because Carl was back in the races, so it's like got me more pressure to do good because I have my boss slash really good friend out there racing with me.
yeah.
You got to make sure we support the fellow CRN broadcasters over here. So, like, hey, I won't wreck you. I'll wreck myself before I do that.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some interesting moments in vintage racing, and you know that you've been a part of a few of those.
Yeah, yeah,
And I mean, you've also had your share of really good success in that race, in that series. You've dominated it many races, and you know what you're doing in those cars. That's your specialty. It's what you do. You know those cars inside out. So good to see you racing out there. But better luck for you in the next couple of races. Looking forward to seeing you maybe pull off a win or a top three. It would be really nice to see in the next few races.
Well, just saying, I'm not looking forward to the dirt because the last time we were on dirt, I had some bad juju with another fellow racer. But I am looking forward to Indy. I'm looking forward to the Dega race, and I'm definitely looking forward to Rockingham. Those are my favorite
Yeah,
3 tracks on the
classics.
schedule. And look at that, Paul Butler on
Oh,
the gas
Paul
pedal,
is
and look at that
he.
gap going into turn number 1. Mark Thomas is going to take
Oof.
over the P number 2, but here comes John Crane to the inside of the number 54 of Paul Owens. Now he's going to be side by side with the number 44. He's going to get in the
Oh, he got
wall,
squeezed.
squeezed up into
Nobinger
the
got
wall.
squeezed into the wall
Matt
and
Crockett
brings
is
somebody out.
spinning, and
Oh no.
that's going to bring out another caution. We're going to go ahead and go back to a
But if you
quick.
go back to that, I think that had to do with John Crane. I think there was something there. Oh yeah, John Crane squeezing Nobinger into the wall over there a little bit, getting a little tight in there. And I think they were just fighting for the same piece of real estate, but that slowed Nobinger down, and that got Crockett right into him, and he got bumped around. There's nothing Matt could have done at that point. I think he's just a little too little room for him to react. And next thing you know, he's just too slow for everybody else coming up behind him.
Yeah, I mean, especially with all these guys coming up and around Matt Crockett, sitting sideways saying, here's my ticket for the race here tonight. Nobody hit Crockett. I mean, Joe Sullivan
Right.
almost got into the back of Tyler Barnes. He was able to get it slowed down, and they just like split the Red Sea.
Yeah,
Everybody able to come out of it on clean and clear. As Matt Crockett's going to go back to the back, probably going to save that fast repair for a rainy day. As we have 10 laps or 12 laps to go in this first race at Myrtle Beach.
yeah, and I think I'm sensing a sense of urgency in the middle of the pack over there, or somewhere from fourth place to eighth place. I'm sensing they know this is the time to make the move. I mean, if you give Paul any more room up in the front, if you give Mark Thomas any more room up in the front, they're just going to run away with this thing. So those guys know they've got to make a run. They've got to get up there in the front and start to fight them. But boy, they just can't seem to get out of each other's way right now to find the way up to the front.
Yeah, it's you know, for me, if I was in this race, this restart would have to be go time. I'd go in, get some fresh tires, and just see how many positions I can make up. Uh, well, I mean, Abby, you already know me. It's go time from lap one. Um,
Yes, it is.
but
Uh, it's
you
go
know,
time on worn tires with you. It's go time on anything with you. So I don't know. I don't know why we're having this debate.
but I mean, now if I was, I do run the Arca cars a lot over in the official series. This week they are at the new Atlanta. It's like a plate track for these Arca cars. You don't have to lift. You don't have to do anything. So I ran one race over there, and it's just you got to have the mindset, and the mindset that I need to get back into is okay. This race could go one of two ways. It could be a caution fest, or it can go green flag to start from start to finish. My mindset was always this race is going to go green the whole way, save tire. Now, with all the new competition that we've had in the 87s, I've been getting away from that and saying, all right, got to go balls to the wall, get up to the front, keep it in the front, and just try to pull away. But, it's kind of like Texas a couple seasons ago. I said, hey, you know what? Let these guys go. You just run your own race, and you'll catch back up to them. And that's what they're doing to me. I'm telling you what to do, and I'm doing it vice versa. As Paul Butler's going to lead them. Oh, look at that. Paul Butler
Oh,
going.
look at that. He's
Gets another
just got
great
a rocket.
restart. Just an
Oh, he
absolute
knows how to do
phenomenal.
that thing.
Yeah,
He's got a gear that nobody else seems to have at that point when it comes to the restart, and then it's everybody playing catch up at that point.
yeah. Paul Owens, he's going to move up to P number 2, almost getting right rear to buy the number 50 of Mark Thomas, able to keep it off of him. John Crane and John Obinger side by side. I wonder how mad Nobinger is going to be with the number 11, almost 3 wide behind him. Caleb Collins, Tyler Barnes, and Brandon Pohl gets a little bit loose on the outside.
Ooh. Oh, no,
Tags!
no, no. There it goes.
Tags
He's
him.
spun.
Oh, Joe Sullivan
Nobody has
hard
hit
in
him
the
yet.
wall. Jimmy Inslee into the wall.
Oh,
Derek Booker able to make it through. We're going to go ahead and go back to another CRN replay, as it was initially Brandon Pohl getting a little bit loose on the outside of Caleb Collins. Able to kind of keep it straight for the most part. Ended up tagging the number 72. Try to keep it out of the wall. Caleb not giving him any room. Doesn't really notice that he is loose. Caleb just ends up losing it there. He's going to spin it back
yeah.
around, but behind him, Tyler Barnes. Nowhere to go, comes back up into the number 76. 76 going to head on into the wall, break his tire. The 53 of
Oh,
Jimmy Inslee is
and
going to
he
get into
gets
him.
just
And
sideswiped.
yeah, that's no
Yeah,
bueno.
this
Another
one.
parking lot.
I'm not sure these guys have a lot of fast repairs left at this point. Let's see. I mean, let's see what they do when they get in and get back out. But I mean, that looked like there was just when I saw Caleb kind of pulling up in front of Brandon, it just seemed like there was no space there to really squeeze the car in. Caleb thought maybe he could fit it in there, but here we are. After that incident, we got a bunch of cars in pit lane and another another caution.
Yeah, it's I think maybe the top 4 still have a fast repair. Maybe Paul Owens don't have a fast repair. I know he was involved in one of those earlier wrecks. He might have used his fast repair, got back up to the front, and just wants to stay up here. And just like you said last restart, there's some urgency in the middle of the pack. They want to get up to the front. I think they might have figured out this track. I worked with Paul Owens, got him to figure out the track, worked with Jimmy Ensley to get him to figure it out. And I also figured or helped Tyler Bramble figure this track out. Jimmy Ensley, got to give him a big shout out for setting up the practice sessions that he does every week. I hop in there. I help these guys learn the track, what they need to do, what I would do for qualifying, what I do for the race, run some qualifying laps, spend about half the hour and a half session running qualifying laps, and then I'll spend the rest of the session running race trim laps and showing them what I do different here, where I'm braking, where I'm getting on the gas, how quickly I'm turning into the corner, what the car is going to do if you get too far into the throttle a little bit too early. It's just going to plow. It's going to be tight. It's going to push. It's going to get loose if you're on it just a little bit tad later. Anything like that that I can do to help these guys, I'm going to. Abby, a couple seasons
Yep,
ago at Texas, me and you, we spent pretty much, what, two and
spent
a
a lot
half,
of
three
time. Yeah.
hours
Yep.
practicing for Texas. And, we both finished fairly well at that
Yep.
race. And You know,
Learned a
that's
lot.
just that's just something that I like to do. You know, pass my knowledge on to these guys that are starting out on iRacing or don't necessarily run the Arca cars or the 87s a lot like me or Mark
And all that
Thomas.
coaching, and
Yeah,
all that
yeah.
coaching you've given them, here it comes. They've got to beat the man of the hour right now. That's Paul Butler. And let's see what kind of a start Paul Butler gets on this one. They're coming up to the green flag, and look at him go again. He has something figured out, and he's just able to just get right up in front over there. Oh, he's getting
Oh,
squeezed. Oh
Paul
no, we
Owens
got it.
gets
Oh, Paul
spun.
Owens gets sideswiped, takes John Nobinger with him.
Oh,
Oh no,
oh,
this
emotional
race is going
damage.
to end. This race is going to end on a caution.
I believe they might have a green white checker, but I'm not exactly sure what happened. Gonna go ahead and slow it down here. It looked like the number 54 got in the rear. Yeah, the 54 bumped the 77. 54 ended up having to check up just a little bit.
Checked
Didn't
up.
realize that the 54 had to check up. The 50
And does
sideswipes
Mark get
him and
away?
ah,
Yep, Mark Thomas does get away, but then yeah, Nobinger and Owens get into it over there. They basically park side by side.
they're saying, "Hey,
Uh,
bud, where's the cookout at?" As they were sitting up there in turn number 1 and 2, and they had the grill
I
out
think
there, had the brats, hamburgers, asking me and you if we wanted some, and we said, "No, man, we eat while we're working." So
no, we just pointed at the pits and said that's where you need to be.
yeah, pointed at the pits or maybe down there in the
Uh,
woods. See, look,
yeah,
in 1 and 2, you see all these people standing out here. They got their grills. They got, shirts off with body paint, whatever number they got on their chest for the men or whatever. And, they're just having fun. John Obinger had to lock it up getting into pit lane. Don't want a
yep.
dreaded speeding penalty, especially with a green-white checker.
So are we gonna have a green white checker, or is it gonna be is the race gonna end under caution?
This will be a green-white checkered attempt. Now, if with Paul Owens ended up getting stuck behind the pace car here, it's going to let him by.
Should let him by, yeah.
But now, look at that. Mark Thomas going down pit lane. Not sure if that was a strategy call or what, but everybody has already pitted, and now Mark Thomas is going to be in the back. Not sure if I would wanted to do that. That's going to move John Crane up to P number 2, Brendan Polt in 3rd, Tyler Barnes in 4th. Tyler Bramble in 5th, Matt Crockett in 6th, Caleb Collins in 7th, Derek Booker in 8th. Mark Thomas is going to be 9th. And rounding out your top 10 is going to be Jimmy Ensley. 11th is going to be John Nobinger. 12th, Paul Owens. And 13th is going to be Joe Sullivan. And then rounding out your 14-car field is going to be that number 013 of Joe Morant. So this is going to get
Yeah,
interesting, especially with the
it
green-white checker.
this shuffle all of a sudden made things a lot more interesting. And John Crane, he's been running a little loose all night, so I think whoever's lined up next to him is going to keep that in mind as they're driving around him and making sure that they stay out of the cars kind of wash when it washes out a little bit on those turns. But um, yep, we got Paul Owens who's making his way around the pace car and he's getting back up to the back of the field, and they're doubling up right now for the restart. And here goes the pace car, it's pulling in, and the lights are out, and we're gonna wait and see if Paul Butler hits that loud pedal and pulls away from the field like he's done every restart so far. Let's see what John got for it.
Paul Butler off to the races really quickly. John Crane trying to cover that inside, not able to do so. Brendan Polt was there, but Brendan
Oh,
Polt
he
is
slots in.
now side by side with the number 3 of Tyler Barnes. Tyler Barnes is going to have the run on the outside, and there is another caution as the number 76 and 39 get together. I'm going to go ahead and go back to a replay here, see exactly what happened. Looks like Tyler Bramble gets a little bit loose, gets tagged by the number 72, hits the turtles, and tags the 76 ever so slightly, sending him into a spin. Not sure if the number 76 was able to keep it off the wall or not, and it looked like he did. But, with the car spinning down low, he checks up, moves up high, and just gets tagged just a little bit. Able to keep it off the wall, though. Not heavy damage on the number 76 machine, but still a tough break for that Joe Sullivan.
Yeah, and it's interesting. What's actually happening right now? Are we still looking at a green-white checker before they
I
finish the race, or
believe it is two green white checkers, and I think this one, if people spin, they're just gonna let it go.
okay?
As
This is going to make things
I
interesting.
remember in a '87 race, they did that scenario there when Brendan Whitford was our race control for the '87s.
I remember that. Yep, I think I was in that race too.
Yeah, I
Yep,
can't
I
remember
remember that.
what race it was, but I know it was one of those. I can't really remember. I've been in a lot of these races, and some of them I
They're all
just don't
blending
really
into
want to.
one.
Yeah, I just don't really
They're
want
all
to
blurring.
remember half of these. I will forever remember that itchy leg scenario though. That tops the cake. If we had a CRN top 10, yeah, yeah, I was
It's out there, right?
scratching my leg. Yes, yes. You
Yeah.
when you came up over the intercom in iRacing and said, "Yeah, sorry, I was scratching my leg," I immediately lost it. Immediately lost it. That was,
I
uh,
don't think anybody was expecting that, and I mean, I took my eyes off the road for 1 second while we were in that caution, and I looked down, scratched my leg, and looked up, and I was basically my car was split in two on a fence, and that was pretty much it.
yeah, it's definitely gonna get it. It gets spicy out there. We don't play around when it comes to our racing. I mean, you got people out here like John Crane. John Crane he's sort of like you in a sense, Abby. He just wants to get more time and practice in. Doesn't want to be up
Hmm.
to. He's never really up towards the front. But now that number 11 machine is up at the front, can't really time the restarts as good as Paul Butler is doing. And then you got Tyler Bramble, Brendan Pohl. You got Crockett up here in the fifth position with Caleb Collins in sixth. Jimmy Inslee looking to tack on another top 10. Same with Mark Thomas. Mark Thomas has worked his way up to P number 9. Pace car is going to dip off going into turn number 3 and 4. Paul Butler's going to have control of this restart. They're starting to stack them back up. Paul Butler is going to wait till they get almost out of the corner. He's going to take off
Oof.
like a rocket. Looks like Brendan Pohl's going to get to the inside of the number 11. Tyler Barnes got to check up a little bit harder. Not expecting that big of a run on that number
Oh,
70, oh
Crane's
71.
getting loose.
Crane
John Crane
into the
got a little
wall.
loose over there.
Tyler Barnes going to dive it to the inside. They are wrecking in the back. And that's going to bring out another caution. So maybe we do have more green-white checkers. As it looked like John Obinger just got loose, got up into the number 72, hits the number
Oh
53, the
no, he
54, the
takes
39, all
and sends him
spinning.
into the pit row.
And if we look, I thought Tyler Bramble was going to keep it in reverse and do a James Batzer at Watkins Glen and just
I thought so too. I thought something like that was going to happen, but nope.
and
This is
that is going to end the race. Actually, as the checkered flag is
there's checkered
out,
flag. It's out.
so
There we go.
Paul Butler's going to win this race. Brennan Polt in P number 2, John Crane in 3rd, Tyler Barnes in 4th, Matt Crockett in 5th, Mark Thomas in 6th, Derek Booker in 7th, Paul Owens in 8th, John Nobinger in 9th, Caleb Collins rounding out your top 10. Jimmy Inslee in 11th, Tyler Bramble in 12th, Joe Sullivan in 13th, and Joe Morant rounding out your 14-car field.
Yeah, this was an interesting finish over here. I mean, little bit anticlimactic, but I think it's fine. I mean, these guys we kind of saw Paul Butler just doing what he needs to do, which was stay up in front and just ride that 77 RC Cola car all the way to the victory circle, and I think here he is doing some burnouts and enjoying that moment. I'm a little surprised there that John lost second place. He seemed to have had that locked in there for a little bit. I think he got a little loose, and then he lost control of that one. And nice to see Brendan Polt kind of pull that out. He was running mid pack for most of the race, just watching everybody, and here he is.
Yeah, Paul Butler out here doing a little bit of burnouts. John Crane, Caleb Collins, part of the tequila time. So Paul Butler's going to get a phone call from Ricky Gonzalez, my fellow partner here in the booth. He's going to get a phone call from, it looks like, Caleb Collins for tequila time. And I think this is what they orchestrated here tonight. since it is Military Appreciation Night, they were going to get their cars that had the Navy, U.S. Army, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force, anything of that nature on their cars and do burnouts for the men and women who have served our country. As you see there, Jimmy Inslee was out there with them doing some burnouts. I'm going to go ahead and bring up our race results here for you guys. And then we're going to take a quick little commercial break. Get into the Nashville area as me and Abby are going to hop aboard a plane, as Abby is way too familiar with riding on planes. It'll be my like 10th time on a plane, so hey, going from one side of the country to the other side.
There you have it. We can do this.
Yeah. Paul Butler is going to win the race here tonight. Brendan Poulton second, John Crane in third, Tyler Barnes in fourth, Matt Crockett in fifth, Mark Thomas in sixth, Derek Booker in seventh, Paul Owens in eighth, John Nobinger in ninth, Caleb Collins in 10th, Jimmy Inslee in 11th, Tyler Bramble in 12th, Joseph Sullivan in 13th, and running out your 14-car field is going to be Joe Morant. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and cut to a quick commercial break, and we'll see you back here down at the track of Nashville Fairgrounds. All right, guys, we are back here on the Core Racing Network. We are back now. We're in Nashville. Pretty quick flight there for me and Abby. Ended up getting over here to Nashville fairly quickly. We're going to go ahead and move along with our interviews. And first up on deck is going to be that number 11 machine of John Crane. And I think, Abby already got John Crane in here. So, Abby, I'll go ahead and let you take over our third place finisher.
Yeah, hey John, how's it going?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey man, third place finish for you. I know you saw you up there in second place for the last few laps over there. Talk us through what was going on in the last 5 laps over there. It got pretty exciting.
We got very exciting. Paul and I were, I do believe, on skates, just trying to keep our cars underneath of us. And once you're on the outside, it's a little hard trying to battle back to get to the bottom because the bottom was the preferred line.
Yeah, we noticed you kind of tried to keep squeezing the car back down, but then when somebody was in the way over there, it forced you to stay on the outside, and that made things very slidey for you. A couple of times we noticed that you were kind of checking up against the wall and bouncing back. Did you think you had what it took to kind of give Paul Butler a run for the money today, or was it really about second place for you?
I was just focused on trying to get second. But I knew Paul was fast, so it was congratulations to Paul on getting that win. That was amazing. Like, he drove his pants off. I know he's dealing with some shoulder issues, so that's never fun.
Is that shoulder issues in real life or shoulder issues in the race?
Real life.
Real life.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget that we have real life here. So this is real. I mean, earlier in the race, I think when we were watching you going around, I thought maybe you didn't have a whole lot going on, but you were in the middle of the pack and you had caught a couple of cars and maybe even had to use a fast repair. Wasn't sure. We were all surprised to see just all of a sudden you there in second place and started to make a move on Paul. So it was really nice to see that. You want to give a shout out to anybody before we let you get back to the race?
Just thank you to the coordination out there for always broadcasting for us. It's always awesome you guys are willing to do that for us. So thank you. Big thank you from me. And I'm sure a lot of the guys.
Yeah, welcome, John. Yeah, good luck in the next race out there. And, and we'll we'll continue to broadcast for you.
Thank you so much, buddy.
Yeah, that's good, everybody.
All right, going to go ahead and move in our second place finisher. That's going to be Brendan Polton, the 071. Brendan, this is Dylan and Abby in the booth. You got a copy?
Oh, yeah, I got you.
All right, Brendan. Yeah, it was a battle of adversity out there. We've seen you get a little bit loose throughout the whole race, but able to bring home a P number 2. I don't know if you lucked into it or played track position at the right place at the right time. Kind of walk us through what was going through your mind coming to those closing laps.
It was totally luck on my end. I mean, Crane, Butler, and the 3 car was all faster than me tonight. Kind of got lucky with a couple cautions there at the end, obviously. And I was lucky able to hop into the P2.
Yeah, P2, you can't be too mad about it. I will say, though, this is an Arca car. We don't have to worry about making sure we have GT3 or GT4, as your nickname is, not or 3 and not 4, or maybe vice versa. I can't really remember. But, Core is all about nicknames over here. Can't really say mine. People might take it the wrong way, but Abby can't finish. Itchy leg, but anyways,
It's
off topic here.
thing.
Off topic before, you only get 15 minutes of practice. What's going to, you were able to get the P2. You haven't been able to make every single race out here tonight. But the races that you do race, you actually finished pretty well. And I think this is going to be your first podium of the season. Now, what's going to be your take at Nashville here tonight? Is it going to be the same way that you ran the last race, or are you just going to be a little bit more patient and let the track and car come to you?
It's going to be about the same for me. I'm going to try and stay about mid-pack-ish. Hopefully it ends up about the same way as in just getting lucked out on cautions. And maybe looking for another podium, maybe my first win in core. So hopefully we'll see how that is. First off, I got to get through how many laps around here, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, well, Brendan, before we let you get on out of here, does anybody want to give a shout-out to?
You guys broadcasting here, Paul Butler with a great win, and my dad who's currently up in D.C. kind of not doing great with crime up there, so he's doing great, but yeah, it's DC, so wish him the best of luck out there.
All right.
Yeah, best of luck to your dad. Yep.
Yeah, Brendan, we'll go ahead and let you get back out there, get a little bit more practice laps, and hopefully we'll be talking to you at the end of the Nashville race.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
You boys have fun up there.
Yes, sir. All right, Abby, I'm going to go ahead and let you pull in our race winner here, as Paul Butler is sitting down there ever so patient, ready to get that broadcaster's curse off of him. And
Yeah, he's been alone in that in the broadcast waiting room for a while. Wonder what he's saying to himself. Here he is. Hey, congratulations, Paul, on that
Thank you,
on that
guys.
win. That was pretty dominating.
Appreciate
So yeah, tell us what was going on in the first of all the race you pretty much dominated. So tell us what went on most of the race. But those last few laps got a little exciting behind you. So talk us through that.
Yeah. So, like I just said earlier, I started out in practice, no practice whatsoever. And I get in there and I'm much slower than everybody. And then the boys told me, hey, do third gear. So I did that. And then all of a sudden the car woke up and turned dominant. And Paul Owens and Mark Thomas, they had a lot of speed too. And I was honestly a little nervous they were going to get me because they're both exceptional drivers. And I mean, but then they pitted and I was like, oh, I'm staying out on these tires. My car felt great the whole time. At the end, it was skatey. I had to be extra patient, but it still drove fine enough to get a good jump and hold it. That was the thing. I didn't have to contend with anybody.
You had amazing restarts. Every restart, you pulled up at least a car length on everybody, and then they were just scrambling to catch up to you. So I'm assuming that was your trick to really staying up and out of trouble all night, is getting that good restart.
Yeah, I did get 4X on that wreck where Paul Owens and Mark Thomas got together. I got 4X because whenever they got together, they bumped into me.
ooh,
And it
Yeah.
gave me 4X there. But other than that, I had a clean race. It was golden. It was fun.
Yeah, and
It's my home
I mean,
track, too. I'm from South Carolina.
see,
So.
that's what I was wondering, if it was going to be something like that where you just know exactly what to do in this track. How do you feel about Nashville, the next race that's coming up right now? Is this something that plays to your strengths, or is this something that you're going to have to figure out that you need to find a different gear, maybe third or fourth gear?
No, this one's one of my favorite tracks on iRacing. I've never done it in this car before. But, I mean, once I get over the initial slowness, I think I'll be there near the end, hopefully. I mean,
Okay.
heck, with the way this is set up, I don't even have to show up. I'm showing up for fun now.
This is just a different Paul Butler that I've seen in the past than the past few weeks that I've seen in the vintage races. I mean, you're just
Yeah.
coming out here swinging. So I like this Paul Butler a lot better.
Well, that's 'cause
I'm not
this
sure
car
the rest of
turns,
the field. I'm not sure the rest of the field likes this Paul Butler, because it looks like you're ready to put up a good fight here. So
Oh, no,
excited to
those
see
guys were
that.
loving it. We were all celebrating together. I mean, this is a great bunch of guys. It was good to see John Crane up there running up front. We had John Nobinger had a really strong run. Newcomers, Tyler Barnes, Tyler Bramble, they did well. The 071 car, I'm struggling to remember his name right now, but he had a phenomenal race. I mean, everybody did a good job. There were a few mix-ups here and there, but everybody was just, having a good time. Nobody was being egotistical and, trying to wreck each other. It was good.
Yeah, and I guess in the end there was only 2 green-white checkers, or maybe 3 of them, right? That you need were able to
Two,
follow.
yeah. I
2.
was hoping that we wouldn't have to go through that because my tires were slick as anything by the end of the race. I didn't pit at all.
You were a sitting duck for a little bit, but you pulled it off. So congratulations, Paul, on the win. And then you got a shout out for anybody?
I'm gonna shout out Carl. He's not feeling well today, man. So shout out to him. He's always putting in a lot of hard work to make this league run, all these series we do, and this, that, and the other. So give a shout out to Carl and all the veterans out there who served and who are still serving. I certainly appreciate you guys out there, and thank you for what you do.
Cool. Thank you, Paul. And we'll let you get back to get some practice in and figure out what gear you want to run this track at. And
Fourth gear, baby, fourth gear.
maybe we'll talk to you in a little bit.
All right, I'll be there.
All right. See ya.
Later, guys. Thank you.
all
Right, Dylan. That was our talk conversation with the top 3 finishers in the first race, and it looks like they all had a pretty good race. They all feel very confident about this second race, and so Dylan, what do you think? What do you think Nashville's going to bring out today in this pack of guys?
It's going to bring out some tight racing for sure. I mean, you're going to see a lot of guys run the middle to high lane. You're also going to see guys running the middle to low lane. I mean, there's going to be multiple groove tracks. This is another one of my favorite tracks in the 87s, the Arca, Tour mods, anything that does run here. You got to be careful of turn number 1 and 2, though, as that can play dividends to you going into a corner. It is a little bit bumpy on the inside. Turn 3 and 4 is kind of the same way, but the wall comes out and grabs you as well. So that's something they definitely got to watch out for going through the race conditions. I think we're going to have a lot of way better race than we've seen at Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, I'm a road course guy, and I typically come from that background. And every time I run an oval, I'm shocked by how different every oval, first of all, is in general, and then even within that oval, how different every turn is. And I think it just if you're a road course guy out there listening to this thing and wondering if you should run ovals, you should absolutely run ovals. It'll give you appreciation for not just the fact that these things are not just go fast and turn left. There's a lot more going on there, and so there's a lot to appreciate. It's a much harder skill than you could probably imagine having. And on top of all that, you get to learn some really cool tracks and realize, yeah, this is what makes these tracks special. So looking forward to seeing what Nashville is and how special it is for these guys. But yeah, I watch some of you guys like Dylan, you for example, drive these tracks, and Paul Butler and some of the other really fast guys, and Carl and Mark Thomas and everybody lay down some lap times that are a second faster than me, or a second and a half, maybe even 2 seconds in some cases. And I go, where are you guys finding that time, right? So it's just fascinating to me how ovals work, and it's definitely a skill I'm working at, and I love watching other people race it and watching to see if I can learn something. But so far, I'm coming up empty. We'll see what happens in the future.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got to start somewhere, right? I mean, I wasn't the greatest on ovals. I actually got some coaching sessions from Coke Series drivers and helped me get a little bit better and quicker. And then also I had the sticky pedal situation. Chris Hamilton helped me out getting me some semi newer pedals. Went from Logitech pedals up to V3s. Um, and then same with, just everybody that is in core treats everybody like a family. We're all brothers and sisters. Carl and Eric, they're the head guys up here in core. They're always down to help. You can ask any admin in the core racing league. They're always going to help you no matter what you need help with. It's just trying to get and find your rhythm of either road courses or dirt road or ovals. It's going to take some time. Like me, I'm not the greatest oval or road course guy, but I can honestly say, Abby, the best time that I've ever had on a road course was when me and you did the 24 hour of Daytona, and it was an
Yeah,
absolute blast. We didn't finish in the podium, but we had fun.
nope,
That's all that I mean. Road course racing in a team endurance event, there's not really pressure, but there is pressure. But it's not like an
that's
oval
right.
where you have all that pressure, because if somebody gets spun, there's a caution.
Yep,
You're all brought back together, and then now you really got to watch out for the guy that's behind you. And then
that's right.
something bad could happen. We're road racing. All right, cool. I just took you out. I'm gonna keep going. There ain't
Yeah,
no caution over here. I just gotta wait till I
nope.
catch you back on the track and hope nothing bad happens.
Yeah, it's a lot of interesting strategy, and I did really enjoy running that race with you. That was kind of fun, and you were really quick in that car. You were turning some really great laps, so I do remember that race. And I think that those kind of races will always stick with you because they're long. You get to spend 24 hours with a bunch of your favorite guys racing. That gets to be kind of fun.
Yeah, for sure. Tonight we are at can't English today. We are at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. This is the shorter track. There is 3 configurations. You got Nashville Super Speedway, Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, and then in where pit road is, there's another little speedway right there. It's a super short track, really fun to run. I wouldn't take any high-powered, horsepowered cars there. Maybe the street stocks, and that's about it in the Legends. But it is 0.57 of a mile. Track temp's going to be 68 degrees. Air temp's going to be 68, so it's going to be a cool track out here tonight. 8-mile-an-hour winds, and you know these guys are going to be putting down some pretty quick times. I'm going to go ahead and switch this over to the race and let you guys see exactly who all has qualified. Paul Owens out there with a 19.242, setting a quick time with Tyler Barnes behind him, as it looks like everybody has elected to qualify.
Yeah, and our race winner from the last race, he's figuring things out, and I think he's right there in the back at the moment. But no surprises, I guess, in general in qualifying because his race is 90 laps long, so there's going to be a lot going on. So we don't have to worry necessarily too much about where you qualify at the moment. But it's good to see who's got that pace. Good to see who your target is. Good to see who you're gonna have to watch out for the rest of the race. And at the moment, Paul Owens has got that benchmark time with 19.242. That looks like it's not too far away from Tyler Barnes and Mark Thomas. So look for things to be bunched up in the beginning and look for them to fight for position. Now it's 90 laps long, so we'll see if the people realize that they need to pace themselves and figure things out.
Yeah, I mean, patience is going to be a big, big virtue here tonight. As if I was able to see if anybody was out there get ready to run some laps, I'd be able to hop on their car and have them take us around the track, but nobody's out there. And it's always going to come down to who's got patience, who saves their tires, and who doesn't. I know from past experience running this track in the officials, RIP my safety rating and I rating on some races, but coming out of the corners is where you're going to see most of your struggles. Getting into the corner, if you dive it in just a little bit too much, you're going to have a little bit of struggle there. Getting into pit road is going to be the same thing. Get you a good camera. Can't really do a good camera angle. Nobody out there on track. But at the top left of the screen, getting ready to go to the middle of the screen, you'll see a couple of barrels, a little bit of a gap, and another wall. That is pit road entry. Pit road
Wow.
entry is super tiny. And I remember a certain race a couple of seasons ago in the 87s, Wes Fuller murdered those barrels. And we had to have a little bit of a funeral service for those barrels because those things, even though they're indestructible in game, those things were just toast. I mean, getting into pit road here is going to be a challenge. They say Darlington's hard to get on a pit road. Nashville Fairgrounds, in my honest opinion, I think has the hardest pit road to get onto other than Lanier, as that's even a shorter track.
Dylan, I'm looking at this entrance to pit road, and I don't feel like it's that hard if you kind of diamond the turn entry into it. You know, you kind of ride up high, go straight right up high in that banking, and then just kind of cut the car down. I don't know if it's going to be that hard. At least I feel like that's what I would do. Again, I've also never finished in the top 10 in any oval race, so that could be a reason too.
Well, I mean, okay. So let's say Paul Owens is in the lead and he's got to get into pit road. Yes, you could arc it in, but if you're the leader, do you really want to go to the top of the track and try and cut down in front of everybody, or do you just want to try to ride the inside to get into pit lane?
I think you completely missed my joke, but that's fine. I would never
I
want to
I
do something like
I I got your joke. I was just trying to put it nicely, is what I'll say.
Yeah,
I was just trying.
there's just
I was like, do I really want to be a jerk right now, or do
you can
I?
absolutely be a jerk. I'll tell you what, when you're a road race, that's all you see. All you see is angles, how you can take a turn and get the right entry. And in this oval, you're gonna have to ride that little pit wall and get into the pit road, and it's gonna be really tight. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna see some incidents there. That just can't be without incident, at least when it looks like that. So it's
Yeah,
gonna make it
it's
very interesting.
yeah, and even with it being that small, it can get congested really quick. So pitting under green is going to be a big thing. Qualifying is done. We're going to go ahead and show the qualifying results as they get brought up here. Going to go ahead and throw this. There we go. Paul Owens is going to start on the pole. Tyler Barnes is going to be P number 2. Mark Thomas in 3rd. Joseph Sullivan in 4th. Caleb Collins having a little bit of a turnaround here for race number 2, qualifying P number 5. John Obinger in 6th. Matt Crockett in 7th. Tyler Bramble in 9th. 8th. Paul Butler in 9th. Brendan Polt in 10th. Derek Booker in 11th. Jimmy Inslee in 12th. And John Crane rounding out your 13-car field. The number 129 was just here for practice and ended up, I don't think he liked the track, as he was not posted time or even in the server. We're going to go ahead and jump to our race leader. Going to go through these beautiful paint schemes one last time here tonight. Paul Owens, the number 54, MSI Sim Tech. Tyler Barnes in that beautiful number 3 Goodwrench Service, throwback to Dale Earnhardt. Mark Thomas in that 10/50 Valvoline.
Mark Martin car.
Yeah, no, Scott Riggs.
No? Scott Riggs.
Scott Riggs or I can't remember the other guy. Joseph Sullivan in that Charlie Brown number 76. Caleb Collins in that Marines number 72. John Nobinger in the number 44, moving in storage. Tyler Bramble in the 0 Given with a piece of toast on the front with a frowny face. Matt Crockett the Rocket in the Liquid Death. Derek Booker in the U.S. Army number 86. Paul Butler in the number 77 Sweet Jenny RC Cola. The number 11 Snap-on Tools. Jimmy Inslee in the Navy Blue Angels paint scheme. And Brendan Polt did not load in just yet. We're going to go ahead and go back up to our race leader. Get it onto the drone cam. As you see all these beautiful cars coming around to take another pace lap before the pace car goes in. Going to go ahead and put that track map up for you guys. These guys can't go until Barney waves the green flag. And it looks like they are getting ready to go green, side by side. Paul Owens not able to get a good launch on the number 3. He's going to dive it into turn number 1 and 2. He's going to clear him. But it looks like Tyler Barnes might have a little bit of a rebuttal for that number 54. Not able to do so. Still side by side, 3rd and 4th. Mark Thomas and Joseph Sullivan. And we have a spin, number 11, down the backstretch. Just a single car spin. Going to go ahead and look back here side by side with our last race winner. Went way up the track. Gets a little bit in the throttle.
Third place finisher. Yep.
Doesn't make any contact. Able to get it back going again. Going to look back here deeper in the field as Derek Booker up here to P number 8. Running his own line. Tyler Bramble taking a high pitch into the corner as he's trying to catch up to that number 44 of John Nobinger.
Yeah, this is looking a little bit more stretched out, this field already. I mean, I think guys are starting to give themselves a lot of room. There's no bunching up yet, and I think that's a sign of the early part of this race here where everybody's trying to figure out where they're sitting. I mean, I can see the field is starting to come up now on John Crane already. I see Paul Owens and Tyler Barnes and Joseph Sullivan kind of pulling up over there on John Crane. So John Crane must be still trying to figure out what's wrong with the car and maybe even limping it into the pits if he needs to. We have a number 72 that's starting to slow down, Caleb Collins, I believe. So I think there's something going on with his car.
It looks like he just gave up that position, and Tyler Bramble, he's going to be a little bit loose coming out of turn number 4. And Derek Booker up here to P number 8. Paul Butler trying to get around him, trying to go back to back here tonight. But it looks like the number 3 and the 54 I have checked out from the field. This is going to be a tough task for these drivers to catch up to those front 2.
Yeah, if you're looking at the strategy being, hey, I'll ride it out in the back and stay out of trouble, that might not be the best place to be if you want to stay out of trouble. The trouble usually happens in the middle of the pack and then kind of, wipes out everybody that's coming up from behind. So I'm wondering what the thinking is right now. Maybe Paul is trying to figure out his tires and see what he can do. But that field is really stretched out already for what I've seen, I think, in any kind of oval racing recently. So this is interesting for me. it looks like Paul Owens and Tyler Barnes have this thing figured out at the moment, and they're kind of in a league of their own at the moment.
Yeah, looking back there, it looked like Jimmy Inslee had a little bit of a crash there. We got a good battle going on between the 72 and the 86, keeping that battle on board with these two. But we're going to go ahead and jump back to this replay, see exactly what happened. It looks like he's got a broken left front. Not sure exactly what happened to that number 53 machine. He's going to go ahead and take it into pit lane. And there,
Oh.
yeah, just misses it. Had to back up. And we have our first yellow flag. John Crane in the number 11. Going to see exactly what happened here. Gets into the corner, running the middle to low line. Going to hit those bumps, get it a little bit sideways, overdrove it, hits the inside wall. No space shuttle detected just yet. Going to get it back going.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a rough way to kind of get started in this race already. You're 11 laps into it, and you've already found the wall. John had that spin early on, and I think that just put him in a bad place. And I think he saw some of the leaders coming up and started to get a little anxious, wanted to stay on the lead lap and wanted to pick up his pace a little bit. But, you know, there you go. That's that spin from getting on the throttle a little too early and trying to get that car to turn the way he wants it to. Right now we're under caution, and the field looks pretty pretty clear at the moment. You know, everybody that's running the way they're running right there. Paul Butler is somebody that's interesting to me just because he's running where he's running, and he did tell us this was one of his favorite tracks. He's good at running this track, so curious to see what he's going to do as he goes in a little later into the race. And of course, our top 10 are Paul Owens, Tyler Barnes, Mark Thomas, John Nobinger, Joseph Sullivan, Tyler Bramble, Caleb Collins, Derek Booker, Paul Butler, and Matt Crockett. So there we are, rounding out the top 10.
Then you got John Crane, Jimmy Inslee, and Brendan Polt. Running out our 13-car field, it looks like Brendan Polt not able to make the race. Jimmy Inslee is 9 laps down. Not sure exactly what happened to him, as John Crane is 2 laps down. So these guys are going to double it back up. That's going to help, you know, Paul Butler there a little bit. Those two up front, Paul Jelly Owens and Tyler Barnes, got out to a pretty easily marked or gapped lead. And with that caution coming out 13 laps out of 90, was able to get those guys bunched back up. And, you know, it's only a matter of time before either A, these guys bunch them back up again, or that number 77 gets up to the front and starts pulling away again.
Yep. And here we are kind of getting to the too wide part of this thing. So let's see if somebody's going to dip in. Oh, there's Paul Owens kind of dipping in a little bit. I don't think he's trying to do anything other than just kind of stay out of the way. The field is bunching up. They're getting ready for that restart.
Yeah, it looks like Paul Owens is giving the pace car just a little bit of a bump draft there. As he was trying to give it a bump draft. Ended up going inside the bumper. And that's another thing with these Arca cars. You can't bump draft in these cars. Your nose gets underneath that back bumper of the car in front of you, and you're going to lift the rear tires up off the ground, and it can pretty much it's going to spin the car out in front of you, but it's also going to spin your car out. I've done it multiple times. I'm not a fan. You know, we're going to see a lot of bump drafting / spinning next week as these Arca cars finish out their regular season at Pocono and Talladega. But getting ready to go back green here, Paul Owens elected to go on the outside. He's going to go right off the rip. He's going to get a good restart. Tyler Barnes not able to get a good start on him. He's going to pull out to a 0.4 of a second lead. Joe Sullivan's got Caleb Collins still to his inside. Looks like Tyler Bramble's going to get passed by the number 77 and the 86. Tyler Bramble's going to fall back even more. Here comes the 86 to the inside of the number 77. Not able to make that pass on. Paul Butler is going to dive into the inside yet again. Paul running that middle to the low line. 86 running that inside.
Ooh,
gets together.
That got close.
The 77 able to keep it straight. One hell of a drive by the number 77 of Paul Butler. As Tyler Bramble's going to fall in line right behind that number 86. And Paul Butler got a little bit loose, falling back the order. Not sure exactly what happened there. Maybe he might have spun it out, but kept it straight. As Paul Butler is now back in P number 10. But up here, John Nobinger's got a battle on his hands with the Muffin Man of Mark Thomas. Mark Thomas to the inside. Gonna run him up the track. And, you know, that's something that I like to do. In my opinion. I'm sorry. Sucks to suck. But if I know there's a guy on my outside that's quicker, I will ever so slightly move my line up and up and up and up to where I know that he's got to check up more than I have to, and I can start pulling away. Nobody's. I've done that to a lot of people. Chris Hamilton, if you're watching, I'm sorry about Knoxville. But you know, Paul Butler.
Oh, we got Paul Butler's taking damage.
Oh
So
no.
he's trying to find this entry to the pits. I think I don't know what's going on over there. It didn't show up as a wreck or anything. I don't think.
It did actually.
Oh, it did.
There
There it
go ahead
is.
and
Oh
go
no.
back here, see exactly, rewind this, because that's after the fact. We'll go ahead and see what happened to the number 77 machine here. Oh, that is bad. Where did it happen at? Oh, that's where it happened at. Alrighty. So coming out of the quarter, he's just going to get loose and just nose it into the wall ever so slightly. That's going to break a left front tire. As, you know, looking now, that first little bit of a run, Tyler Barnes and the 54 Paul Owens was able to check out. But looking up here now, Nobinger and Mark Thomas able to keep up with the number 3 as the 77 finally making his way into pit lane this time by. Mark Thomas going to dive into the inside. He's going to take that spot, so move Mark Thomas up to P number 2.
Yeah, that front four right there bunching up. I've kind of figured this thing out, and they're starting to fight it out between each other. I know the fight was before between Mark Thomas and John Nobinger, but looks like Mark Thomas is pulled up a little bit and past Tyler Barnes, and maybe he's making a shot, taking a shot towards Paul Owens. They're all not too far away from each other, getting a good draft, and I think they're starting to work together and figure out that maybe they can kind of keep this going for a few more laps and get a nice run out of this. That next 2 cars behind them is Joseph Sullivan and Caleb Collins. They're fighting it out over there for position, but they've kind of lost a little bit of touch with that lead pack. So they need to stick together. They can fight it out, but they need to stick together to kind of pull each other and hold each other together to see if they can, you know, pull anything on that lead pack. Anything happens to the lead pack and they drop a little bit, this will be a great opportunity for these guys to kind of catch up. But those 4 in the front, they've got some speed right now. They're all working together and they're trying to pull away. So we keep our eyes on that. And then after Caleb Collins and Joseph Sullivan, you've got a whole slew of cars behind them that are just fighting it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I think at this point in time, if I were Caleb Collins or Joe Sullivan, don't worry about battling with each other. Work together, save your tire just a little bit, and, you know, with these front 4, they're going to be battling here in a couple of laps. That's going to be your move to make. Those 4 get to battling, you're going to have a better chance of catching up to the top 4, as once they get side by side, it's going to slow down their momentum. The 76 and 72 are staying behind each other. They're going to have more momentum going down the straightaway into the corners. Yes, granted, Caleb Collins has to check up a little bit more than the 76 because the 76 got a little bit more cleaner air. But as the run goes on, you're going to start catching up to those front 4, and it's going to be a 6-car race at the end of it.
I agree that they're definitely not out of it, and I can see some cars actually coming up on them too. So things are starting to heat up over here at Nashville. Love to see what the front cars are doing right now because it looks like Mark Thomas is starting to put some pressure on Paul Owens. That gap is cut down to 0.2 of a second, and I think Mark Thomas is settled in right now, looking around to see if he can make a move on Paul Owens, or at least maybe push Paul Owens a little bit more to get him to use up some of those tires, maybe make a mistake, maybe get out of shape at some point in that turn, and Mark can take advantage of it. Mark's known for that. He's very patient racer. He knows what he's doing. He's been doing this for a long time, and he'll watch you, and it'll make it uncomfortable because he'll be right there, really close to you for a long time. and you'll eventually have to either get used to it or get out of his way.
Yeah, Caleb Collins ended up making the pass on the number 76. 76 still running the outside. He's going to leave the door open for the number 86. So 72, 76, 86, all on a straight line. And then you got the number 10 of Matt Crockett, the Rocket, try to make his way around the number 76 and 86. But it seemed like the 76 is content running the outside. And, you know, a lot of these guys are familiar with the outside, but there's just this one little thing that Carl instilled in my brain the first time I joined Core. I did the development series. Shout out to Josh Billiter for getting me into Core. I bought a computer, got iRacing. I bought iRacing and bought all my content before my computer showed up at my door. And when I got my computer, I was like, okay, cool. I'm just going to have to plug and play and go from there. No, that wasn't the case. It took me 2.5 days to download all the content. So, you know, and Josh ended up painting a couple cars for me, got me into Core. And when I did the development series, Carl instilled in all of our rookies' heads saying, hey, practice some on the bottom line, the middle, the high side, run next to some people, seeing what your car can do. And ever since then, that is exactly what I do in every single Core race that I'm in, whether it's the 87s, Premier Series. Well, I don't race Premier Series anymore. I broadcast it. But when I did the Premier Series, I made sure to practice every line of the track to see what I could do, as we have a pass for the lead. Mark Thomas, the Muffin
Yep.
Man, up to the point, leading that lap, 40 laps or 39 laps out of 90. He's going to get loose, though, coming out of that corner. Tyler Barnes, he's going to get loose as well. As it looks
It's a
like...
great run for Mark coming up to the front over there. So I think from what I'm seeing right now, and maybe Dylan, you know a little bit better, Mark's running a much tighter line, a nicer, cleaner line than what Paul Owens is able to run. Paul's kind of fighting to keep that car behind Mark at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, with the Arca car, we'll actually go on board with Mark Thomas here. And I'll try to give a little bit of input here. So if I'm running this track as of right now, so I'm easy on the gas, full throttle all the way down. Right before those dotted lines, I'm easy onto the brakes, easing it into the corner, letting the car drift up about half throttle. And then when my car is pointed straight, I'm back on the gas. Same goes for turn one. You kind of want to be down by that yellow line, but you don't want to hit those bumps down all the way at the bottom. And it's just kind of like you want to have a bigger arc on the car through the corners. You don't want to force the car somewhere it doesn't want to go. You're going to burn up more tires that way. If the car wants to be on the outside, open up the wheel a little bit and let the car travel. You never want to force a car where it doesn't want to go. And I've caught myself doing that so many times in the 87s. And, I mean, you can tell when you're doing that because your tires are going to scream at you saying, get off the right front. It's hurting. You're not going to go anywhere. You're going to go somewhere for about 10 laps. And then after about 10 laps, you're going to have people behind you say, oh, hi, sorry. See you later.
I've experienced those tires screaming at me quite often, and especially I've experienced the wall yelling back when I hit the wall. So you're absolutely right about that. Burning up those tires is an easy thing to do in these cars, and especially if you're fighting the car, not letting it just kind of do what it wants to do. But therein lies that skill of knowing what the car wants to do and letting it do what it wants to do, and that's, I think, the difference between the fast guys and the rest of the pack.
Yeah, I mean, with the new update on the 87s, I haven't been running the absolute best, and I will be the first to admit it. I've gotten out of my ways. I watch every broadcast while I'm racing, so I know what you and Jimmy are saying about me. Oh, and Mark Thomas gets a big slide coming out of turn number 4, able to keep it all together. That's going to open up the door for Paul Owens to get up by the back bumper of that number 50 machine. But I do watch the broadcasts while I'm racing. I hear everything you and Jimmy say. Sometimes you get me laughing because, hey, Dylan, sucks to suck. Slow down. Take your time. And then, it's that slump that nobody really likes to be in. I go from a championship caliber driver down to the bottom of the barrels, and it's just got to get out of that funk. Just been dealing with adversity with driving the car, getting used to the car again. And on top of that, we didn't have any breaks in that off season for the 87s. So as soon as we got done with season 5, we went straight into season 6, and I said something to Carl about that. I was like, I just don't like the weeks off. I gotta stay in that rhythm of the 87s. Ended up finding another 87 series on Wednesday nights that I'm going to start running here tomorrow night as they go to Talladega. So that's definitely a track that I'm looking forward to. And you know me, Abby, I'm a play track guy, especially in the 87s.
Oh yeah, you love those things. Um, yeah, look at this. They're swapping leads right now. I see Paul Owens pulled back out in front, and I don't know if he's been up in front for too much longer, but looks like Mark's now also threatening to get back. I think they're starting to see the effects of the tire wear now, and they've had a really good green flag run here. So I think there's the tires are getting old. I can see some of these lines starting to change. I can see the car starting to act a little funny. I just saw Paul up there in the front start to bump the wall and get really close over there. So I think the cars are behaving differently. The race is starting to take shape and change. But these 4 guys up front, I mean, they're 6 seconds ahead of the rest of the field there. So they're obviously managing this thing a little bit differently, but there's no, I mean, when you look at it from the top view, you can see how much these cars are sliding. They're literally just kind of pivoting on their axis. So this is interesting to see how good these guys are and how they're able to keep this under control. Ooh, I thought for a second there Paul Owens might have got too sideways.
Yeah, looking at him now, you can see just how much he's got to dance that car around and chase it. As you see there, Mark Thomas is going to take a different line than Paul Owens. Paul Owens is going to run the outside. Thomas is going to run the way inside. Same with Tyler Barnes. Tyler Barnes is following the front 2 wherever they go. He's going to follow. And Abby, you got a fan out there in the YouTube chat. He said, Abby, Alexa, how are my tires? Screech! And I wonder if it's one of James Batzer's followers as Tyler Barnes gets a little bit loose coming out of the corner. Doesn't hit the wall, though. Keeps it straight. And he didn't really lose he didn't lose a lot of time. But, as these guys are going, it looks like Caleb Collins is starting to reel in this front 4 as he has dropped it down to under 6 seconds as of right. Almost. It's been now back up to 6.1, but he was starting to close in that gap ever so slightly.
Yeah, they're starting to get into back traffic in the back over there, and there's John Crane right now getting passed by the lead pack, and looking at Tyler Barnes, he's joined the 3 in the front and 2 in the front, and now he's also starting to put some pressure over there. I'm thinking, but from watching the gap for a little while, I think Tyler is starting to maybe make a push for the front, and it's actually got better pace than the rest of them going into this. So Mark Thomas may have somebody passing him in another turn or 2, and it looks like Paul Owens also might be under threat from Tyler Barnes. And I would have never thought that it was going to happen this quickly, where Tyler was going to figure this thing out and start to chase him down. But here he is, and he's making a good move over there. They might be going 2 wide soon at this rate, and who knows if Mark and Tyler also bring that up there, then maybe it'll be 3 wide with Paul Owens. So looking forward to seeing some good racing with these guys, and they've been green flagged for quite a long time, really clean racing. So I think this is where they're starting to feel the pressure of the tires kind of wearing off, but some people are starting to manage it better, and you have Tyler making that move right to the front.
Yeah, I mean, this long green flag run, it's going to come down to when do pit stops happen. These guys do have to make at least one pit stop here, and I know that these guys have not made a pit stop just yet, but it looks like Tyler Barnes is still trying to get to the inside of Mark Thomas. Mark Thomas is going to have the better run on the outside, as these 3 are nose to tail pretty much. This is the biggest fight on track for position. Paul Butler got around the number 11 of John Crane. And, Caleb Collins is, he finally got it back underneath 6 seconds, getting ready to drop it down to 5.8. Oh, right back up to 6 seconds. We're not sure what's going on as he's caught the number 11 machine. As it looks like Tyler Barnes is still trying to get to the inside, but I think the outside as of right now is going to have the better run off of the corner. And I think Mark Thomas has realized that and does not want to come up off of that top side.
Yeah, and at the moment, I think this trio is staying relatively close with each other. I see John Nobinger just hit the pits, and I think he's taking an early pit stop, or at least a pit stop right now to kind of figure out if he needs those tires. He's probably going to get. I assume they're going to get the tire. He's going to get tires. I'm not sure, but more than likely he's got the car ready to go for the rest of the race. So there Tyler gets sideways a little bit there.
Yeah, I mean, with these tires, they're getting a little bit too hot. Oh, Mark Thomas, big slide, keeps it down to the inside. That's going to move the number 3 machine up to P number 2. And
I see pit stops happening soon, Dylan. I can't see these guys going much further with these tires.
It's just, when would be the perfect time for you to go down pit lane? You have about 33 laps to go. Some of the field has
we have
taken,
a caution.
We have
got
a
somebody
caution. Oh,
done.
John Nobinger, the number 44. We're going to go ahead and go back here, see what happened. Maybe the fresh tire effect. Wasn't used to how the car drove with the fresh tires. And that kind of changes everything. Oh, Matt Crockett, though. We're going to go ahead and rewind that. Go to Matt Crockett's view. Go to the
I thought he
in-car.
had it figured out. I thought John had it figured out, and he was going to just kind of bail out of that thing.
We're going to go ahead and go to the in-car, slow it down. Matt Crockett now sees John Obinger's getting loose, but now it's a guessing game. Do I go high or do I go low? He
looks like a clear line up high, but here comes John.
Backs it down instantly, moves it down low, and able to not hit John Nobinger. One hell of a drive. Also, while we were on board with the number 10, got to give him a big shout out. He was able to get his surgery scheduled for his back fusion. We know he won't be here for that, as he won't be able to get into his sim rig. So, Matt Crockett, I know you and your wife and your son are probably out there watching tonight. The guys up here in the CRN booth want to give you our thoughts and prayers, and hopefully it is a speedy and fast recovery for you, good sir. Do a lot over here in the Core Racing League. You were one of the guys that I ran with as soon as I got on iRacing. Built a little bit of a friendship. Never had anything bad to say about you. And hopefully everything goes smoothly and we get to see you back out here on track.
Yeah, Matt's a good racer. I've had a lot of fun racing him, and he's clean. He's very communicative. He'll let you know what's going on, whether it's what's coming up to affect you or can affect any other racers. And he's just very good about sharing tips and things like that. So really enjoy racing with Matt. He's fair. I've enjoyed kind of getting to know him and competing with him. So yeah, good luck to him with the surgery, and hope everything goes well in the recovery. He's getting his racing fixed out of the way right now.
Yeah.
But right now, I think while just before this caution kicked in, I'm pretty sure Matt thought that race was over when Nobinger came right up over him in the front. But nice to see him back out here.
Yeah, I mean, seeing everybody out here supporting the veterans with their cars, the guys that do show up, we do appreciate everybody coming out here for the Arca Menard series. There are a few guys that did miss here tonight. Nick Nickerson, Mike Little, Mark Gonzalez, just to name a few. Not really sure.
Kevin Foster, I think. Kevin Foster was part
yeah.
of this leg, wasn't it? Yeah, and he's one of the fast guys, and definitely would have been fun to watch you tonight.
Yeah,
He's always pretty steady up in the front and always knows how to manage the car and he's one of those guys that you'll see him in the middle of the pack, you'll see him in the back, you'll see him doing all kinds of crazy things, and at the end of the race you'll see him in the front.
Yeah, Kevin Foster actually won a race last week. But look at that. Paul Owens gets a great jump on the number 3 machine. He's going to bring it back. Green flag racing as the number 3 and the 54 going to check out from the field just a little bit. Mark Thomas and Matt Crockett, 3rd and 4th. The number 11 of John Crane's going to be on the outside. That's going to help these guys get back to the field as Paul Owens has checked out to a 0.6 seconds
Ooh,
of a
that
gap.
got a little close over there with Caleb Collins. Got a little close behind Matt Crockett.
Yeah, these guys running hard for those positions. Look how close they get right there. Caleb Collins going to dive it to the inside, going to keep it straight. And we have another caution. The number 39 of Tyler Bramble ends up spinning. So we're going to go ahead and take a look back here. Using that inside, and he hits those bumps, and that's what I was telling you about. You hit those bumps, going to upset the car.
That. You're right. I saw that piece of toast spinning around. Oh no, poor Tyler.
Yeah, poor Tyler. He's always out there in the YouTube chats. I try to help everybody as much as I possibly can. I want to see everybody succeed in whatever car they are driving. And you know, as much as I want to see everybody succeed, I'll help you. But the minute you start beating me, I'm done. I mean, it just nope.
That's such a terrible attitude, Dylan.
I'm
That's
just
a
kidding.
terrible attitude.
I mean, if you think about it, Abby, you've beaten me because I haven't finished a race.
That seems to be my usual pattern of beating people. Is I beat people that don't finish races. I got that going for me, right? If anything, lately I've been having some good finishes in GT3. Obviously, our pool of racing. I mean, we have a lot less folks running right now. We're trying to revamp that series, and it's going to be bigger in the future. But right now we have a fewer people running, and of course I'm reaping the rewards of that, getting my 3rd place here and there, or getting a top 5. Although let's not talk about how many race cars there are in the field. Sometimes there's only 5, so those kind of situations do happen.
Yeah, it's always fun, finding out how everybody drives, just try to work your way through the pack. And, there's select tracks that I don't ever want to qualify at. Then there's some that, okay, maybe I'll put in a few laps of qualifying, see where I end up at, and, go from there.
What's a track, Dylan, that you find that everybody hates, but you tend to like a lot? What's one of those? Talladega. All right. I've seen you do really well at Talladega, in that situation. One of the tracks that actually, not even being an oval guy, but a track that I really like, and I actually find myself doing well there, surprising myself, is Poconos. I actually enjoy that layout. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Something about it works for me.
Pocono kind of runs like a road course in a sense.
Exactly. Those apexes are very road courses. Yep.
Yeah, last season, we had the championship race at Pocono in the 87s, and my pedals stuck 100% to the floor on the throttle.
I remember that.
And I was out before lap 3, and that just after that race, I said, you know what, screw it, I'm done with the Logitech pedals. Put the V3s together, and I haven't looked back. I mean, it's just night and day between these pedals. I've been taking my road racing a little bit more serious, been doing a lot more road racing officials, getting my iRating up there, getting used to how to turn into a corner with a Mazda or the Formula V, or, just something different other than a stock car. You can only run stock cars for so long before you're like, I'm done. And Paul Owens gets a great
jump again. Wow.
Almost 3 wide.
Oh, no!
Another caution. Tyler Bramble gets
Bramble,
spun. Or Tyler Barnes, excuse me.
No, it's Barnes. Yep, that's right.
Want to go ahead and slow it down. Maybe he missed a shift here. Not sure exactly what happened. He got loose coming out of the corner. Mark Thomas able to miss him. And that's going to do it for Dale Sr. He said, see you later. I'm out of here. Now, if only there was a Terry Labonte.
That's actually not a bad... No, that's not a bad... I mean, he hasn't taken any damage in that. He's just lost a lot of places, obviously. But it looks like he's pretty... Well, like, it pulled up another... Maybe... Why is there another caution? Did they end up getting... Is there a wreck at some point?
So Tyler Barnes ended up spinning it out right off the restart, so they got to wait for the pace car to come around past them, and then they can get going. So Tyler Barnes was the cause of that caution. Um, it just something that you hate seeing, and it just sucks. You don't want to do it, especially straight off of a restart. And man,
I just had that experience yesterday. I was at the Charlotte Roval in the GT3 cars and the restart, and I was being chased by Mason Smith, and it was an unbelievable road racer. He's just incredibly fast, and yep, spun it on the restart, and it was one of the worst feelings because you restart, you feel like you've got fresh tires, you feel like you've got this fresh start in the race, and you can do something, and then you do that. So I know how that feels. Poor Tyler Bramble or Tyler Barnes is experiencing that right now, and he's a few laps down already.
yeah, I mean, it's just always something that you don't really want to have happen, and you hate seeing it happen, but I mean, it's just some tracks, I know some people don't like Rockingham. I love Rockingham. Some people don't like Indy. I love Indy. Indy's corners is sort of like a road course. Apex is sort of like Pocono. They're wide, but they're tight.
Yep.
Um, I am from Indiana, so Indy is my home track. Do I like racing it? Only in certain cars. And the only certain cars I'm talking about is the 87s. I don't know why. It's like peanut butter and jelly. They just go together. I don't know. Rockingham, I mean, the season that I won that only race, I went from third place up to first before turn 3. So, I mean, you just got to know and take a chance with the car. You never know how far you can drive it until you actually drive it further than it can go. And, to this day, Chris Hamilton still doesn't know how I do it in those cars, and I'm not giving away any secrets. Chris, if you're watching, it's not happening. So
Well,
it
Dylan,
just
after the broadcast, we may have to have a conversation. So we'll definitely, I'll check in with you.
yeah, yeah. I'll
See what
tell
that is.
you, but Chris Hamilton's already fast enough. I'm not giving him any secrets.
That's right. He doesn't need any help.
Yeah,
And
exactly. See, Abby agrees with me. So, Chris, if you're watching this, it's not happening. But get ready to
here we
go
go.
green here. Paul Owens electing to take the outside. He's going to go super early. He's going to get a great run. Matt
Wow, look at that run.
Crockett's got to back up just a little bit because you can't pass before the start finish line. Derek Booker going to force it 3 wide. Caleb Collins loose.
Oh,
Gets up towards the wall. Saves it. Derek
saves it.
Booker loose. 3 wide. Paul Butler, Tyler Barnes, and company all making it through. The biggest mover, though, Tyler Bramble up here right behind Matt Crockett. The number 77 is not on the lead lap. He is 2 laps down. Caleb Collins getting into the wall, going into the corner. Going to possibly try and make it 3 wide. Going to think better of it as John Crane's trying to get around the number 72. Looking back here with the number 39. The 44 sitting behind the number 11. Not able to get the good run, and it looks like the 10 of Matt Crockett has spun, and we're going to go back to another caution.
Oh wow, yeah. As we're getting close to the end here, people are starting to just turn it up a little bit.
Yeah, Matt Crockett coming out of the corner just gets a little bit loose, and doesn't hit the wall. Doesn't hit the wall. Doesn't hit other people.
Doesn't cross the start-finish line either, so I don't know what that means.
Abby, not going to lie. I was supposed to do double duty here tonight. Issue out EOLs, this and that, and I have not done a single thing.
Oh, really?
Normally I message Carl to let him know, like, hey, this is what happened. I just been, having fun.
Chilling here and chatting.
Yeah.
No,
It just, I don't know what's going on. I guess nobody's going to get a update. Oh, and by the way, for that guy that said Screech in the chat, it's James Carmen.
James Carmen. Yeah, I just got a message from him too. It's James. But my question is, what's he doing on there and not in the race? That's my question to him. He's got to get his butt in the race. He's a fast guy. He knows what he's doing. He has a good time racing, and when he has time to practice, which he always tells me that he has time or no time, but when he has time to practice, he's quick. He knows what he's doing. So, James, get your butt in here. Start racing these Arca cars.
Yeah,
Pretty sure.
yeah,
Yeah, he would have done well.
Yeah, I mean, I've ran with James in the ECRC league, ran with him over here in Core, and he's like Kevin Foster when it comes to saving fuel. He can do it like a master. I've seen it done by him. He gains a lot of positions, but then it seems to not pay off because when he does that, it ends up going to a caution, and it just ends up throwing him back to the back.
Throwing him back.
And, there's something that, as a racer, you got enough fuel to make it to the race. And as you're clicking off laps, you keep looking, okay, lap number 80, lap number 85. You're looking at, let's say, if you run any apps, like me, I run sim racing apps. I have a track map. I got, fuel calculator, and I also have a pit road speed limit. So it'll beep at me if I speed, and it won't beep at me if I'm under. I'm constantly looking at that track map, kind of like mirror driving, to make sure that nobody is spinning, because I do not want to have another restart. And half the time it works, the other half it doesn't. So that's just something they got to really pay attention to, especially on older tires. If let's say these guys went green and there was 4 laps to go, and you're the leader, Abby, what are you gonna do?
I've never been the leader, so I actually don't know what I'm going. If I was the leader where I normally am, which is with worn tires and trying to hang on to a car, yeah, I usually just get out of everybody's way. I run the high line and let all the guys kind of filter in underneath me. Yeah, the few times I've led one of these races, mainly been on a restart. It's been nerve-wracking for me. And Dylan, I think you and I have had a few incidents where we've said hi to each other on those restarts.
Yeah, more so me hitting you and, you looking the other way, and there's a big jump by the number 54. The 54 got right up alongside of that number 50 machine and just said bye-bye, see ya later. As Paul Butler was not able to get one of those laps back. Derek Booker on the inside of Caleb Collins. He's going to move his way up to P number 3. He's going to get loose right in front of the Caleb. He's going to be able to save it, though. Caleb fighting back on the outside. He's going to clear the number 86, move him back up to P number 3. The 86 trying to get back to the back bumper. Does he give him the chrome bumper, or does he let him have P3? Back here looks like John Obinger. It gets spun.
Oh, no.
But up here, Derek Booker not going to be able to get to him. Joseph Sullivan and Tyler Bramble side by side. Photo finish for them. But move Paul Owens to the win. Mark Muffin Man Thomas, Pete number 2, and Caleb Collins running out your third and final podium spot. Derek Booker in 4th. Joseph Sullivan in 5th. Tyler Bramble in 6th. John Obinger in 7th. Paul Butler in 8th. John Crane in 9th. Matt Crockett in 10th. And we're going to go ahead and go back here to the incident here, see exactly what happened. So here's the first one. John Crane ends up spinning it, just noses it in the wall, backs it on up, does a little bit of a James Batzer at Watkins Glen. And then going to go ahead and jump on board with John Nobinger, as it looks like maybe he got caught up with the number 39. Not sure exactly what happened to him. He doesn't look loose. Yeah, he just came up, got into the side of the number 39, and that's going to send him sideways.
Actually, I think he reacted to try to pull it away from the number 39, and he did it to himself. Doesn't look like he even touched the other car. So that's...
We'll go ahead and rewind and get a different view.
Yeah, maybe we can get a different angle, because it looks like he tried to save it from touching the other car, and then he ended up spinning himself out.
Go ahead and get on the
number 76, maybe. Yeah, there you go. It's a decent view.
Oh, so Tyler Bramble got a little bit loose. Oh, netcode.
Look at that. Netcode, yeah.
Netcode is a mofo. As especially at Monza, that Monza race in the 87s. Oh man, 5 foot of neck code between me and Eric Andrews. Oh, it was terrible. But we're gonna go ahead and look at these results here.
Let me see if I moved everybody to the broadcast waiting room. I'll move them.
All right, so P number 1, we got Paul Owens. Second, we have Mark Thomas. Third, Caleb Collins. Fourth, Derek Booker. Fifth, Joseph Sullivan. Sixth, Tyler Bramble. Seventh, John Nobinger. Eighth, Paul Butler. Ninth, Matt Crockett. 10th, John Crane. 11th, Tyler Barnes. 12th, Jimmy Inslee. And 13th, Brandon Polt. So while Abby's getting ready to see if everybody's in here, we got them all in the broadcast waiting room.
We do.
I'm going to go ahead and
Start
move in our third place finisher. That's going to be the number 72, a fellow CRN broadcaster of Caleb Collins. This is Dylan and Abby in the booth. You got a copy.
Evening, boys. How's the weather in the virtual Nashville booth tonight?
It's a little warm where
it's
I'm
humid.
sitting at. Yeah. Caleb, me and you were just in the booth last night doing the ACL iRacing Series APAC Challenge, and now you stepped away and got in the car. And, the first race wasn't too terribly bad for you. You had your ups and downs for sure, but, the second race coming home P3, you got to be a little excited for it.
Yeah, especially after that first race. I was missing the booth after that first race. Second race, we were kind of joking around with Nobinger there. He took one for the team there, and that caution came at the perfect time. I was really itching for some tires, and I was going to have to come down for fuel anyways in just a few laps, and that just came at the perfect time. Made for kind of a wild finish there. I was sort of resigned to just finishing top 5 and then restart or two later and wind up with a podium there. Booker raced me clean there on the inside. It was so hard to hold on to that inside, and I saw him sliding all around down there on that last restart, and I wasn't making it easy for him, but he kept it clean, and happy with the podium tonight.
Yeah, podium here tonight, kept the car as clean as you possibly could, had a few incidents there, but now you go Pocono and Talladega. Maybe you should hop up in the booth and let me run Talladega for you, but can't do that considering it is the Arca car. What's going to be your mentality going into next week's race?
Mentality, let's see. Give Dylan my login. Just Dylan, don't say anything. All right, just don't say a word. It'll be fine. Now I have not. Pocono, I like. Pocono is a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to running that in these cars. But Talladega, man, I've never run a super speedway in these cars, which is weird as much as I love super speedway racing, especially in the 87s. But these cars, I know you cannot, any other track at least, you cannot bump anybody at all. You can't even think about bumping anybody. You can't breathe on anybody. And once you get sideways, the thing is just gone, just like that. It's going to be interesting. I expect we will probably practice wrecking a lot at Talladega, especially for that 15-minute practice session we have, and then hopefully we can just kind of stay off each other's bumpers and keep it clean as possible there for the actual race. But I do love Talladega. Pocono's been fun, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you can bump draft in the Arca cars, but it's a fine line between bump drafting and lifting rear tires. I'll have to give you a little tutorial on how to do that.
I'll be, whenever you heard it, you're my witness. Now when I wreck somebody, I'll be like, hey guys, I don't know, Dylan said you could.
Dylan said you could do this.
I've done it in the Arca cars. It's a super, super fine line. Once you start seeing that rear bumper start going up in the air, you got to let off. You have to
Dylan,
let off.
What Dylan says is like a catalog of reasons you can wreck people. So here you go. Dylan's
Oh
just
my
spewing them
goodness.
out.
Oh, okay,
exactly right.
so are we
That's all
saying
I'm
at
getting.
Talladega last season in the 87s, because somebody had push here on the back bumper. It's my fault because he spun.
Yes, that's
No,
exactly what we're saying.
I was following the rules. It said push here, so I pushed. I did what I was supposed to do. It happens, but no, good strong finish here tonight. Anybody you want to give a special shout out to before we let you get on out of here and practice, or not practice, but get a phone call started to PB for tequila time?
That's right. It is tequila time tonight. Good job for PB. I'm excited for that one. We'll have to we'll see if we can dial up Ricky in Vegas. Oddly enough, he was in Vegas last time we tried to do this too. He just likes to go to Vegas, I think. But yeah, thanks to the man upstairs for giving me the means and the opportunity to do this. Thanks to the missus for putting the kids in bed tonight and letting me come out here to the garage and race and have some fun with you guys. Thank y'all for broadcasting. Core for putting the league together. Carl for running it. I know Carl's feeling under the weather tonight. Get well soon, bud. We're thinking of you. And thanks to everybody that was out here competing tonight and keeping it as clean as can be expected for a short track Tuesday night here.
Very cool. Thank you, Caleb.
All right,
Fun
Caleb.
chatting with you, buddy.
Yes, sir. It's always fun chatting with him. We're going to go ahead and move him on down, and I'll get the second place finisher up here for you. Bobby, as I brought... Oh, wrong person there. Maybe you should have done it as the Muffin Man is on his way up, and there he is. Abby, go ahead and take away our second place finisher.
Yeah, hey, Mark. How are you today?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. I survived.
Great finish in the end over there. Now you look like you were hunting people in the first race, and here you are. You got what you wanted in the second race. You got that second place finish. I'm sure you wanted the first place finish, and for a while there, it looked like you were in the lead. So talk me through what your strategy was. I mean, you had something going there for a little while. You passed Paul and started to build something.
Yeah, yeah. Like first off, to Paul Owen in a first race, I spoke to him after. Apparently, the Paul in front of him checked up. He checked up, and I just nudged into the back of him, and that spun him out. And you know me, I'm not gonna. So I just ran myself through the pit, just out of. Shit.
That explains it, Dylan. That's why he was going through the pit when we didn't know why he was driving through the pit. Gotcha, Mark. Yep.
Yeah, you know me. I'm not gonna take a podium that way. That's just not. I can't do that. That's just not fair. I mean, it was, it could have been classified as a racing incident, maybe, but no, I'm not good. No, I can't do that. That's just not the way I work. You know this, Abby. We go back a long way, and yeah, I can't do it that way. But the second one, yeah. I had pace on. I had pace.
Pace.
I had pace on the long run. On the long run, the car was good. I mean, it felt good, and I passed Paul, and then I built something, and then the front end started to wash out, and I started adjusting brake bias, and then after he passed me again, it come back. So I don't know whether I was just pushing those fronts a little too hard and overheating them.
You just had a really long run. There was a really long green flag run, and so I think it's really brought into the forefront. Anybody that knew how to drive the cars were starting to figure it out. And I know you pulled up into the lead, and there was just 4 cars in that front pack, and you guys were doing a great job of kind of hanging out there in the end. And it got a little chaotic in the end over there. Did you think you had a shot in the end? Did you think that you really had something for Paul?
Nah, because starting on the bottom is it's not doable. You can't get on it. You just can't get on the gas. And he's starting from, turn 1. Turn 3. No, I mean turn 1, but he's starting from turn 3. He's starting so far back that, it's all perfectly legal. There's nothing you could do. It's a perfectly legal move. The pace car's in and off he goes. But the bottom's so bumpy that as soon as you try and get on it, it just jumps and hairpins, and
Throws
you're
you around.
fighting and you're fighting the back end, and they say stay in your lane. Don't swap lanes before you reach the start finish. Hell, man, I'm trying my ass off to stay in the bottom lane. I can't. I'm literally. It's like something out of Tokyo Drift down here in the bottom lane. I'm wheeling like a madman.
We jumped in the car with you for a little bit of the broadcast. Dylan was in there and just running the laps, and you could see that the car was just kind of pivoting all over the place, and you were just kind of fighting it off and hanging in there. It was around the time when you were in the lead, so it was really nice to see you just up in front and kind of pulling away from the pack for a little bit there. So congratulations on the great finish here, second place. And who do you want to give a shout out to today?
I just want to give out a shout to everybody. My missus, who's not well right now. Thoughts go out to her. I hope she gets better soon. I really do, because she's in hospital right now, and that's kind of killing me. The raceathome.co.uk, Simplicity, raceanywhere.co.uk, OBP pedals, Core, Carl, everybody who puts the league on, and especially you guys. I mean, I know this is a late night for you, and I appreciate you being up and staying with it and putting all the effort that you guys do put into it. I'll be watching this back later just to hear you give me grief.
Well, thank you, Mark, for putting on a great show. And by the way, it's later for you than it is for us. So thank you for staying up and racing with us.
Man, it's not lying. It's hella late.
Well, have a good night, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks, Abby.
All right, buddy. That was our number
Go ahead.
2 finisher for tonight at Nashville. Fun guy to chat with.
Oh yeah, always a fun guy. Now we have our race winner, Paul Jelly Owens. You didn't have your wheel shut off on you, but before we get into that, this is Dylan and Abby in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I helped you out at Myrtle Beach. Didn't get to help you out here at Nashville, but it seemed like you figured it out fairly quickly. Able to qualify on pole and pretty much keep the lead all the way around. Got past a couple times, but was able to get the track position right back. Kind of walk us through on how crazy that second race was.
It was pretty simple and straightforward. I would just figure it out, try and go lead as many laps as I can, and hopefully run away with it. Mark passed me for a little bit, but I caught him back and passed him, and a caution came out, so it was free game from there.
Yeah.
When you passed, when Mark passed you, was it just you kind of losing the car a little bit and trying to figure out how to manage those tires, or was it you just kind of giving up position just to see what he's gonna do?
Not really either. I was just riding around waiting, hopefully catch a caution, or maybe because I know I was quicker on freshies. So I was just sitting around waiting, and when he got close to me, I was like, no point in fighting him.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to fight anybody. You definitely wanted to keep your tires on it. And me and Abby were sitting up here, we were sitting there saying pit stops are going to happen here pretty soon. Right before that caution came out after that long green flag run, how many more laps did you think you were going to go before you went down pit lane?
My number was lap 70, but I had about 10 more laps in the tank.
Ooh,
Yeah, that was a really long run.
Yeah, it was. I was like, oh, wow, these guys actually spread out.
Those restarts were amazing.
Yeah.
Those restarts were just
you.
wicked fast. I think that literally kind of kept you out of trouble, because
I agree.
every time the restart came, you pulled about 2 car lengths on everybody. What was your trick to doing that? It looked like an F1 restart. You just kind of backed everybody up and then blasted away.
I noticed the pace car speeds up when it's 1 to green, so if I still stayed at 40, 45 miles an hour, it would gap us pretty quick. So I just took that to advantage and would start on the outside because I liked running there when take off.
Simple.
Yeah, pretty simple. He's letting on to more than what he wants to tell us, but
Yeah,
it's
he's probably
okay.
telling us the wrong thing, so we're listening to it, and I'm going to go do it.
Possibly, but who knows? It just got to take them how you can. Paul Butler ended up snagging the win at Myrtle Beach. You snagged a win here, so it's been the Paul and Paul show. And next week we go to Pocono and Talladega. Are those two of the tracks that you're looking forward to, or are you just ready to move on to the playoffs?
Sorry, what was that?
The Poconos in Talladega. Are you looking forward to those tracks?
Oh, yeah, I not 100% sure if I'll be able to race them like usual. I never know what's gonna happen, but hopefully I can. And I'm gonna enjoy Talladega more than Pocono probably.
Seems to be a common thing around here. Poconos is a little dreaded.
Yeah. Well, Paul, before we let you get on out of here and you go drink your milk before bedtime, is there anybody you want to give a
Chocolate
shout out
milk.
to? Oh, chocolate milk. Sorry, chocolate milk, everybody. So if anybody knows Paul Owens, get him chocolate milk for Christmas because he won a race.
Obviously, I would like to thank Big Chocolate Milk. No, but I would like to thank FSI and Simtic Solution like always, and you guys in the booth.
All right, Paul, we're going to go ahead
Thank
and let
you.
you go get your baby bottle with the chocolate milk, and we'll be talking to you again next week.
Yeah, thank you. See ya.
Take care, Paul.
All right, Abby, that's going to do it for tonight's race. Make sure you guys go over and watch Carl and Jimmy as they're broadcasting the UCRL Man Cave After Dark Truck League as they are at Martinsville tonight. Wednesday, there is no broadcast, but Thursday, Abby, you're going to be back in the booth as me and Carl are going to be down on track at Pocono for the 87s, and you're going to be with Jimmy that night. Friday and
Absolutely.
Saturday.
Looking forward to that. Yeah, looking forward to that. And Poconos are always a fun track with the 87s. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to do some more practicing and get through it here in a little bit. Just try to see what I can do. Just not gonna look very kindly. We're gonna take bets before the day of the race and see who wins that bet. Friday, Saturday, no broadcasting for the CRN crew. And then Sunday, I'll be back up in the booth for the Premier Series as we go oval racing in the Silver Crowns at Homestead. And Abby, you'll be down there on the track. I think maybe I should help you with that for the playoffs. And then we're back on Monday with the GT4 and GT3 cars. And I will be in the booth for the HTL iRacing 8-Pack Challenge as they go to Gateway Worldwide Technology, another name for it, as they get ready to end that little 8-pack challenge off on a good note. That's going to do it for Abhi Vishwasam and myself in the booth. Make sure you guys take care. Brush your hair.